YouTubers and friends, thanks for joining me tonight on Tuesday night Hangout Live with ToledoJess, Dano, and I.
I'm old, but I'm not dead.
That must go like that.
Working real hard doing all we can. Every day on the creek or beat, flashing your pipe. Every day on the creek or beat, flashing your pipe.
Doggone it. Doggone it. I did it, Jaren. I did it, Jaren. I did it. Murphy did show up. I did my hook. I did everything with my mic on mute. I'm so sorry, but here we are. We have a really good friend. We have lots of friends in the house. We have our good friend, Rich Cooley, from Prospectors Radio with us. Oh, I hate being a partial blonde. I tell ya. Oh
yeah,
man.
it would be so much better if you were totally blonde, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Here, let me get my friends up above me. Here they are. We have my good friend and prospecting partner and partner in crime, ToledoJess, and our other friend over here, Dano the Mano, Rignad Man. All right, guys, get your video cameras off. Taking up the bandwidth.
Oops, sorry.
All right, everybody, how y'all doing? I see Chris Chadwick in the house, Patrick and Wendy Moore. I see ToledoJess's sister. All right, who do we have? Hello, Jesse, Dano.
I'm here, buddy. I'm here. I'm just getting the camera off. There we go. You see my
Okay,
live from my mobile studio. My camera.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
There we go. We're better now.
Well,
Will had a little bit of Murphy tonight, brother. It'll be okay.
Yeah, it's all right. As long as he don't stay long, I guess he could show up now and again. But every week, oh,
stinking dirt bag.
All right, now.
Well, I pressed my on button and it went off. I pressed the off button and it went on. What the heck?
Oh man, I was doing so good with the mute button for a couple of weeks, you know, and here it is. Okay, our stream health is a little on the orange side, so our viewers might be experiencing some buffering and stuff, so please bear with us. As normal, it will get better. I'm sure there's a lot of people getting off work and hitting the YouTube servers, so that might be part of the problem. We have a fellow YouTuber in the house and a good friend of Chris Chadwick's, and hopefully he might be on. We've been talking about it. It's looking really good. I've been talking to him a while about it, and I know I'd be honored to have a homie from back home on with us here, our friend via YouTube and GPS, Sluice Goose.
He's in the house.
He's in the house. Thank you, Goose. We have a lot of people actually. We're up to like 22 viewers right now.
Yeah.
I
Rich,
saw that.
they're here for you, man. They're
Don't
here for
forget to hit
you.
that thumbs up too while you're at it, people.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
forget the
and
Oh,
thumbs up button.
oh,
and if you're
that's,
not yet a subscriber, please subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified whenever we go live, or Jesse and I from Prospecting with Ed and Jess have an upload, or Ed in the Shed, you know. We'd love to have you
right.
join the community.
Absolutely. Hey,
So,
I got a little beef tonight.
okay.
You guys don't
Uh-oh.
mind. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
There's a video going around on YouTube, all over the internet, uh, about Walmart throwing out food.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure everybody's seen it. And the problem with that video is that it doesn't tell everything about what was going on.
I was talking about that same thing today with guys at work. I'm like, it's kind of unfair. It's kind of
Well,
biased. It's
yeah. Well,
one-sided.
I used to work. I used to work as a at a tow truck company where we would pick up wrecks and stuff. And I've seen insurance companies where a truck has gotten into an accident. And one example, we had a truckload of hanging meat, box meats, all this stuff, just filled. Well, the truck got into an accident, and the front of the cab was dented in, and some diesel fuel spilled on the ground. The insurance company goes, "It's all bad. We can't let cross contamination go," so they totaled that whole load out. By law, once the insurance company does that, that can never be sold or even given away. It's tainted meat. It's cross-contaminated, even though 99.99% of that load was fine, was absolutely okay. They still, because of insurance, and you can't do insurance fraud, that whole thing had to be buried. We gathered all that meat up and dug a big hole and buried it in our yard, or our tow lot. That's the official story. But what happened with Walmart, you have to remember they got hit with a tornado.
Oh, yeah.
They
Two tornadoes in Salina that day.
right.
Two tornadoes.
They were out of power. The store itself had no power for 14 hours. So all that meat that you saw, all that stuff that you saw was no good. It's been sitting out for 14 hours. I mean, if you knew that, you wouldn't buy it, would you? No, I wouldn't.
Some would. If you're hungry, you would.
Well, sure, without a doubt. Dude, I lived in San Francisco in the early 70s. I spent a whole year living out of a dumpster. I mean, people don't realize how much food is actually wasted. You know, from the field to the store, there's tons of food that gets thrown away for no more reason other than it's too ripe to sell in the store, so they throw it away. You know, so there's a lot of things, and you know yourself. If people found out that you were selling tainted food, somebody got sick, they're going to own the company, so the company's not going to take that chance. It looks bad, it is bad, but there's nothing you can do. It's insurance. It's insurance fraud if you sell it. Don't want to buy that stuff. It's been sitting around for 14 hours. Yeah, if you're hungry enough, hell, I'll eat it. I'll cook it enough so it kills everything. But that's not the point. You know, they had no choice.
Right. He never said nothing about that. It was just like, look at all this food that's being wasted. Granted, a lot of it, or some of it, a portion of it could have went to food banks, but
Now,
a lot of it couldn't.
okay,
So,
the Walmart on a daily basis, every Walmart store on a daily basis sends tons of food to the food banks. They have their food bank drivers come to the stores. They pick up on a daily basis a load of produce, outdated products that there's nothing wrong with, and we've all eaten outdated stuff, but they can't sell it, so
Right.
they take the loss. They take the loss and donate it to the shelters and food banks. So it's not like they throw away tons of food all the time. That was a special situation. That reporter was making up news. He saw something. Oh, I can make news up. I mean, and if you do your research, you'll find out exactly what happened in that situation, and it happens every day. So
Right.
that's all I got to say. I'm off my soapbox now.
Stepping down.
It just really upset me that people would take that, and it went viral quick. I mean,
Oh,
boom,
yeah, it did.
as it would. But that's I know some people think that's BS, and it is to a point. But at the same time, it is a business. It is a company that's not going to take a loss, any more loss. It's cheaper to throw all that away than to have Ed Marvin or ToledoJess or Dano sue Walmart for selling them tainted food that they got sick on.
Right.
It's a whole lot cheaper. So, and the way things are nowadays, it's easier to sue and to make money than it is to work for a living. So, not that any of us do that. But okay, I'm getting off track now.
All right. And that
I'm
was
done.
this week's segment, Jesse's Rants.
My
Thank you,
rant.
Jesse.
You're welcome. I just had to.
Maybe we might need a new segment every week, Jesse's Rants.
Jesse's rant. I could come up with a rant every week. Trust me.
So how are you? Let's get to our guests.
Okay,
guests.
let's do that.
Wait. Dano, anything exciting happened to you this week?
Nope, just a boring usual week this week. Nothing great.
Same here, working out in the cold, pounding nails.
Yep.
But I did hit my finger Monday. See that? Oh, man. And it was cold.
Dude.
It was
When
like
it's cold, it hurts
9 in the
worse.
morning, working in the shadies, on the shady side. And it was cold, and I hit that, and oh, man, I almost cried like a little baby boy. Should have seen this old man walking around that room, holding my finger, going, "Oh man, that hurts." But there it is, right there.
It hurts just looking at it.
It hurts.
Yes, sir.
I'm glad it'll
be okay, Ed.
I'm glad it wasn't my big 32-ounce hammer with a big waffle head on it. Then it'd be like, oh, shoot.
Yeah, then you blow the nail off and you just kind of tinkle
nail
yourself.
And break my finger or something. That's all I need. At least it was my left hand. All right. Enough of us. Let's get to our buddy, our friend, Rich Cooley from Prospectors Radio. Thank you for waiting, Rich. How are you doing, my friend?
Not a problem. How's everyone tonight?
Hey, Rich.
Doing great.
Good.
Oh, it's another beautiful day in Pennsylvania, I guess.
Yeah, I hear you have a lot of those there, huh?
Yeah, it's mid-hunting season here. Just getting done with archery season, and then bear season will open up, and then deer season, so I'll be into that. That's pretty much why I tore down the dredge here, and we'll talk a little bit about that later, but that's in the shop now, getting all redone, so.
Well,
I've
talking
been
about
watching here.
hunting, I know you were at hunting camp during the broadcast the other day, right? Did you bag a buck or?
No. I bagged a doe earlier this year in inline season, but I had about there was 3 bucks that was running around, and couldn't get a shot at the one, and then the other ones wasn't legal. They were 4 points, 2 on each side, and you have to have 3 on each side. But the one actually had a crab claw that was close to an inch, but didn't cut the mustard, and I didn't want to take the chance of shooting it and not being legal, so I had to let it walk. So, but other than that, I guess I'm here to tell you a little bit about me. And everybody should know, I'm a co-host on GPS Radio. But I'll start from the beginning. I kind of got started in this by watching Gold Rush on TV. And my buddy of mine, my neighbor, Joe, he's like, well, maybe we can do that here in Pennsylvania. I said, well, I don't know. So I got online, did research, and looked up, and we had some places here in Pennsylvania. And we had, it's called the Mason-Dixon chapter. They're part of the GPAA, and they're out of New Oxford, PA, which is probably about 45 minutes from me. And they meet at a local restaurant. So I decided to go to my first meeting, and it was pretty good. I ended up winning some PayDirt there, to go through. And my buddy kind of seemed like he really wasn't interested after that very much. So I kind of went out on my own. When they had meetings, I went, and they had a couple areas around Red Line there in PA and a couple other areas you went to, but I really didn't find too much gold, just a bunch of little, we call it fly poop here in PA. So
that's what we call it.
Yeah, that's basically all I was finding at the time.
So let me ask you this. Is this where you're at in Pennsylvania? Is that like the northeast, northwest? We're at Pennsylvania?
We're in south central PA.
Okay.
I'm 29 miles from the Maryland borderline, right in the center of Pennsylvania. I'm 29 miles. I'm below Harrisburg and Carlisle.
Oh, okay.
So that gives
I know where it gives me an idea about where you're at.
And I have to travel at least anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours to find gold. So that's why I travel a lot.
Yeah, that sounds SOP.
Well, the problem about Pennsylvania is if the people that can say, "Oh yeah, there's gold in PA," and they know where to go, that's because they know where to go, and they don't tell you where to go.
Right. They're not
PA people don't share where they're finding gold because it's very few and far between. Besides having some claims, well, they're not really claims, they're just areas that we can dig at. So I was in the Mason-Dixon chapter for probably about a year, and then I ventured on and started to try to find other chapters here in PA. And I hooked up with the chapter called Delaware Valley Chapter, and they're out of Pottstown. And they met up at a local restaurant up there for a meeting. It was, I think, during the wintertime. And then they had some other areas like 30 or 45 minutes from there that they went to, other dig sites that I guess they have. And there's a couple good ones. There's one up around Lehigh Valley. There's a couple up there. There's one up there, and then they have a couple other places. Peters Creek down in PA. And but I kind of got started in there, and basically I ended up joining GPS, which I don't remember years. I mean, I'm not a very good person to remember how many years I've been in.
I have that problem too. I've been doing it for a little while.
Yeah.
5, 6 years, something like that.
Possible 7. I don't remember.
Right.
But I joined, of course, Gold Prospector Space, and I loved the place, and it got me interested, and I got to meet a lot of different people. And, of course, the first person that pretty much welcomed me there was Ken the Mountain Man, besides Tim.
Your mentor.
He's my mentor. He's what I always want to be. I'd like to have all the knowledge when I'm at his age. I'd like to have all the knowledge and the skills and stuff that he has, because it got me motivated for finding that gold. I mean, when you're learning stuff, and he tells me all the time, each is their own, and that's our famous saying to each other,
right.
Because everybody has their own style and their own way to do stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's like all the products that are out there. We always say each is your own, because you might like something better than somebody else likes something. I mean, and that's how you do it. And if you're happy with the way you're doing it, but you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That's one of the main things. When
Right. Well, Ken's been around for a while. He's built a lot of stuff. He's learned a lot of things, and you're right. He has a lot of knowledge. I know we talked when I first got on that site. We talked. He taught me a lot of things. But at the same time, he's not one to change, and that's okay,
Right.
because that works for him. He has his style. He has his methods. Is what he likes to use, and hey, if it's working for you, it's working for you.
Right. But I'm always open for suggestions, and
Sure.
basically how I got started in the show was Ken was actually going on vacation one time, and he told Tim, he said, "Hey, why don't you get Rich on the show? He's pretty new, but he's new with knowledge, and he loves to venture on and learn more stuff, and he's coming around pretty good." So Tim gave me a shot, and he's like, "Okay." So I joined the show, and just it's a great experience. I mean, you guys, have your show, and it's just it's something that you look forward to every week, and you get to meet so many different people.
Oh yeah. The reality is too. This Tim's website, his page, and everything has brought a lot of people together, created a lot of different things. I would venture to say we probably owe a lot of this to Tim for us being on here.
I mean,
he's backed us up and helped out.
Yeah, GoProspectorsSpace.com. We're looking at almost 7,000 people. We're trying to get that by the end of the year, and we're up there pretty good ways. So, and of course, we want to get you guys going too. You have our full support, of course. You know that, and we need to do this together, and that's how we're
spread the word. You gotta spread that word, and and as I've said in the past too, and we like new products. We always hoping to see new products and trying out new products, and that's all part of it too. And I have nothing against tried and true methods, but you got to be able to look outside the box once in a while.
That's true.
I mean, one of my favorite tools here at the Swank Claim, where Ed and I are members of the Buckeye chapter, and Dan, and I think you are too, is the old wooden log top. That thing is so cool.
Oh yeah,
it does a great job.
Carpet medium too. Nothing but carpet. No expanded metal. No nothing. Just carpet.
Like when we was in North Carolina, they had shag carpet in them.
Right.
Yeah, fresh out of a '70s living room.
Yeah, you know it. The Brady.
Did you came out of your van?
Did you ever any of you guys ever get to do any of the big trommels or anything?
Yeah, we did. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, North Carolina, yeah.
I have a video in editing now about it. It's going to be called the Thermal City 5.
Okay, that was at Thermal City. Yeah, I think I did see the Danos, I believe, had a...
Yeah, I had one. Yep.
Yeah, I had my first experience of that with the Delaware Valley chapter. We went down to Lucky Strike down in North Carolina. And we actually rented the trommel there for 2 days, and that was an awesome experience,
Yeah, that's fun running that. I mean, it's different. It's you run a bucket load of material through the trommel, and you got 3 guys running it.
And we had a good time. We had a great time.
Oh yeah.
Fun. But I got to learn the hard way, because when we went down there, they did not do our material. We did it ourselves. So basically, Bud Sutter, Mr. Sutter, used to be on the site there a lot. And me and him pretty much tag teamed the material. He had one of the spiral wheels that he ran, and then he ran pretty much all the material through that, and then I panned it out. I panned all that material out, and we had a couple people that were helping with some other things. We had one guy trying to do a blue bowl, and that was taking too long, but I pretty much panned all that out down to pure gold. And when we did our final clean out, you know, we basically had, from the time they shut down, at the end of the day, we had about 2 to 3 hours of daylight before, you know, it got dark. So we had to get all that material ran. And we had like, you know, 4 or 5 gallon buckets of material that we had to run for all day's run. So that was a challenge in itself, just to try to get all that done, you know, in that amount of time. And I was a panning full. I mean, he had it out of the spiral wheel. I was panning it. You know, I was straight black sand, and I got her down the gold, and we kept on going, and we were all finished, said and done. You know, the lady there, she was like, did you guys run this through a table or something? You know, I don't see much black sand. I was like, no, ma'am, I panned it all. And she's like, you panned this? That's pure gold. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much how I do it. So she was pretty impressed that we could do that in a short amount of time, you know, that we had. Because the second day that we did it, we only had a certain amount of time before, and then we took all the gold up to her, and then she weighed it all up and divvied it all out, and that was the only bad part about it. You had to split it 10 or 12 ways, so you really didn't get much gold at all, you know. We were lucky if we even got a gram out of it, but it was just the experience of actually running it, which is what I really liked. So.
Oh yeah.
Hey guys, let me excuse me for a second. Guess who's in the house? I know you guys know. It's the birthday boy.
Oh,
Lucky Ducky Dog Thomas.
Happy birthday, Lucky Ducky Thomas.
Happy birthday, Lucky Ducky Thomas.
Happy birthday, Lucky Ducky Thomas.
Ready, guys? A 1.
Ready.
A 2. A 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Lucky Ducky Thomas. Pennyweight. Happy birthday, dear Thomas. Lucky Ducky Thomas. Happy birthday to you. All right.
Hey. He's an old man.
Oh, gee, thanks, buddy. We're the same age.
I wish I could see if he was blushing or not.
He's probably laughing.
He's turning bright red, man.
He's probably laughing at us.
Yeah.
They're all crazy.
He's probably trying to get up off the floor. He's laughing at us so much.
He probably signed off as soon as we started singing.
He done
everybody probably.
His friends.
No, he's still there.
Oh, actually, we did lose about 4 people.
That was just for you, Thomas.
Yeah, buddy. Our good friend Thomas Folks. Happy birthday, friend.
Okay, now, what were you talking about? Where were we at?
Well, I was basically talking about trommels and stuff, you know, having going to actually different places, you know, and then we had the one outing that we went to at Alabama, you know. That was really awesome down at Lou's, and that's when I actually got rigged into dredging. That's basically what got me started and hooked, you know,
I know.
On sinker, you know.
I know.
Basically what happened was me and Sam, Gold Getter, we took a flight here from PA out to Atlanta, and then we got a rental car from Atlanta and then drove over to Lou's house there in Alabama. And we actually came like 2 or 3 days before everybody else. So we actually got some one-on-one time and training with Lou and Robert, which was awesome. You know, it took us out with the 5-inch and the other one, and just basically showed us how to do the stuff, you know, with air and everything, and dredging under the water. And it was some awesome time, good experience, you know. And then when everybody else showed up, then it was like we were on our own, you know. You guys know what you're doing, go ahead and do it. So
then you became teachers, didn't you?
Yeah. So we became teachers. We pretty much took Shad and Kathleen out there and then walked through the same thing that we got walked through, and told them the ups and downs of it and what to watch for. And, you know, down there, you really got to watch the current because, you know, if they open that dam and that water comes down, and that water level starts coming up, you got to get out. You know?
Yes, sir.
And then we had that bad storm that came through with the lightning and stuff. And I was really mad because they told us to get out of the water. And I'm like, I don't want to get out. I'll be under the water. I'll be fine. And they're like, no, you got to get out.
It won't be fun if they have to open that dam. Want to feel like taking some questions?
Sure.
I saw one way back about how far away do you live from? Oh, where was that?
It was way back. It was way back.
Yeah, well, way back.
When I asked him what part of PA he was in.
Yeah, how far do I live from Ohio? Basically,
no, it was a VA town.
Oh, Virginia?
No, PA, not VA.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, most of the gold places, you know, that I usually go to has been either in the eastern PA.
Glen Rock, PA.
Northeast.
How far away are you from Glen Rock, PA? By Henry Clinton.
I'm not sure. I can find out here, though. Yeah,
you don't even know where that's at, huh?
I've never even heard of it, to be truthful with you.
Well, it takes you a good while, even like when you go to Bill's, don't it, Rich?
What was that, Dano?
It takes you a good while when you just go to Bill's, don't it?
When I go to Bill's, it's 5.5, 6 hour drive, depending on where. Well, I think Bill's was 6.5 there the last time.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good haul.
Yeah. I can't get Google Maps to work, but yeah, I'm not sure where that place is.
Oh, well.
It's somewhere in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. My computer's slow, so. But I'm, you know, Harrisburg, pretty much. I'm about 45 minutes from Harrisburg. You know, about 20 minutes from Carlisle. Pretty much about 40 minutes from Gettysburg. Everybody knows Gettysburg.
Right.
You know, I'm about 40 minutes from Gettysburg Battlefield. So
I used to drive truck, and I had a delivery in Harrisburg once a week. So I know about where that's at.
They always said there's good gold at Gettysburg, but the problem of it is you just can't unless you know somebody there. It's hard to even get in there. I've asked so many people, you know, like even trying to do metal detecting over there, it's daggone near impossible unless you got the ins and outs of people, you know, because
they're pretty tight down there about metal detecting any Civil War areas, battlefields and stuff.
And that goes with gold prospecting too. You know, they say there used to be gold in the streams there, but you know, you just can't get any permission with anybody. So I pretty much, of course, through GPS, you know, I hooked up with the Ohio State Prospectors Association, OSPA, Sonny and all you guys, and I got hooked up with that, became a member there. Well, actually what started was my first Gold Rush days. I was at the Gold Rush days, and I actually won a membership for a year.
I remember that one.
Yep.
And I told Sonny, and I said, you know, that's awesome. And he says, well, you're from PA. Are you going to accept it? And I said, well, heck yeah, I am. I said, I'm in now. And he's like, what do you mean? And I said, well, you know, this is a good thing that you guys do this because it gets the person started at joining your club. You know, once you have your first year under your belt, then you know, almost your second year, you're going to go ahead and rejoin, you know.
Well, especially if they're, you know, they have good spots. That produce good gold, you know, it makes it worth being a member.
Yeah, so then basically got turned on the OSPA, and of course, you know, went to the Norse and of course got turned on to Bills, and we love gold Bills, and that was really good gold down there.
I want to get there one of these days.
The first place we went to was down at the other campground down across the metal bridge, and then you go back in there. That's originally where I think I met Dan and them down there.
Yep.
We did a lot of camping, and we had a lot of fun. I mean, we used a hatchet to go in a car when somebody locked their keys in it.
Hey, I just did that a week ago again.
Did you? Oh man, it was like
Yeah, but I had a piece of wire in the bed ready for the kill.
Yeah, about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, we're all standing there with flashlights, putting a hatchet in the side of the door to pry it open to get something in.
Pry it open.
Right.
And the one kid Jake stood there on his phone Googling, and he said, "Listen, if you get a piece of wire and fish it down and pull the door handle, it's a lot easier because we were trying to push the door lock and stuff. We were trying everything we could do, and then we got that piece of wire, and after what, hour and a half, 2 hours of doing this, pop, the door come right open."
Yeah, a lot of consumption of alcoholic products also. You know, that threw a couple little screws in it.
Yeah, that might have helped.
But yeah, I mean that's basically what got me started on everything, you know. OSPA and the GPAA pretty much, you know. I wasn't really a GPAA member until later on, you know. Once I joined OSPA and you know, go to the swank and stuff, then I decided, well, I might as well just go ahead and join GPAA and get started into that. So that's kind of how I got into it there. But the OSPA, I love it because I like going to, like you said, the different properties, Jesse. I mean, you get the Double D, and I've never been to the Scenic, and I've never been to the other Penny Claim or something.
Scenic View is kind of small, but it has some pretty decent gold, and it's a nice little creek. There's a confluence on it, a small creek with a culvert, which some pretty decent gold has came out of. And at the confluence of the small creek and the bigger creek, I found some decent color too. Not a big property, and you can only tent camp there. And watch out for the cows.
The cow.
I think I've seen somebody's video. It must have been Mr. Tim for Gold. He had a video out with cows were licking the vehicles and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that's Scenic View.
He has a few videos from the Scenic View. Him and
Sarah.
Oh
Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were in a pipe. Is that where the pipe was or something?
Yeah, the Covert Gold, Ohio Gold Rush, Covert Gold with Tim and Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know everybody watches for Sarah.
You know, he puts it on the front. It's clickbait.
Clickbait.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a lot of his videos. Her pictures on the start of it. Clickbait, as I call it.
Oh, okay.
I'd give a profile me, but ain't nobody gonna click to see me.
Right. Unless you show gold.
Yeah, unless I show my gold.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't click to see me either. So.
I really like my Cooley 7. It's working out really good.
Yes. That's awesome. You know, I mean, I basically just I built my first high banker box, you know, and Ken he sent me a little pattern in the mail, and he was like, go ahead, you know, give a shot and see if you can do it. And I basically got frustrated at first. I wanted to pull his hair out, and then Darth, I wanted to pull his hair out too because I was so frustrated. I couldn't understand the pattern, you know. I mean, you could trace it out, but then trying to put it together, you know, because I don't weld or anything, so I pretty much started riveting everything. Right. And you have to kind of know what you're doing when you're dealing with the angles of the slick plate, and you know, we call it the slick plate or the slider.
Right.
Basically, what that does is that takes your material to the back of the box, and it's very important because if that material does not hit in the right place at the back of the box, it'll build up. And then if the material slides down the chute and it just drops right down, it'll drop right down and then load up your punch plate. So it's very important to know the angle of what that needs to be. You know, you can stand there and without that slick plate, you know, a lot of the, and I've always asked Gold Hog, and I've asked a lot of the other people, Proline, I think, or Keen, we had them on one night on the show, and I asked them why they do not put a slick plate where a slider is. You know, and sometimes their answer was, well, you really don't need one, which I kind of disagree with that. But, and then other ones were saying, well, they were working on it. But I did see some of the new ones that were coming out with Keen that does have like half of a slider in there now. So.
And that slider directs your material back to the back of the box, right?
Right.
That's correct.
Right.
And that way it gives it a boiling point, because if you actually look in there while that material's running and that water is sliding down that chute with the material hitting the back of the box, it's actually causing a boiling effect. And what that does is if you have a punch plate, like, of course, I use Vortex matting, and I have a wire mesh back there, and I have punch plate on top of it, and I have the punch plate angled at a slight angle, and that way when that material comes down, it causes a boiling effect and washes that material back there. And while it's doing that, it's giving it a place to drop down underneath the punch plate and to settle before it gets pushed out. You know, it's basically giving it a drop-off point. And, of course, most of your fine gold and your pickers and stuff is going to be back there. And I am a really firm believer that all your gold should be in the first 2 feet of your box.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
And if it's not, something's wrong.
Yeah.
You know, and I am a firm believer of that. You know, now other people that use other mattings that have sluice boxes that are 6 and 8 feet long, I mean, they design those mattings to be able to, I guess, to run a lot more material. You know what I mean? And
right.
so,
for that length, you should be able to run tons without cleaning up.
Correct. In order to do that, that's why they have a 6 foot or 8 foot long sluice box, because they're running for a longer period of time, and it gives that box a more area for it to deposit the gold. But basically, you know, mine's like a 4 foot. I think it's 40 some inches long. I can't remember exactly what it is, 42, 43 or something. But it, you know, I like all my gold to stay up in the upper part. And another reason to that is because sometimes, you know, we're not perfect when we're dredging, or you know, because basically I have a high banker combo dredge that I started out with, and of course you're going to get clog ups. And when you get clog ups, what happens is it surges. And when it surges, it can push that gold out of your box. You know, it'll push right out of the end. So what I found is if I can keep a majority of that gold at the back of the box and it does surge, it'll get caught in the riffles once the water starts flowing again. Or, you know, if the water slows down, speeds up. And that'll actually get caught in the riffles and won't get washed out. But, you know, it does happen, you know.
Right. I've been running the Cooley 7, and I've got green mat in it. And I've got the small cell green mat. Okay, and it runs up the back wall, right, because it's longer than the sluice box itself. I ran a bunch of material the other day, and all my gold, well, not all of my gold, but I'd say 90% of the gold that I captured was literally up on the wall in those cups.
Correct.
Those little,
and you know what? If that slick plate, that slider that I put in there is not in the right direction, that gold will not be back there.
Right. Oh, and if I'd have been smart, I would have just sucked it up from right there, but I didn't. I put it all in the pan. I had to pan it out. I didn't really need to do that because it was all clean. I mean, there was no dirt back there at all.
Yeah. A lot of people will do that. And, you know, I have no problem with it. That's up to them, you know. And we're out there, you know, when I do test pans or whatever, and I always check to make sure that I'm still on the gold and keep going. I put it in my bucket that I'm coming home. Well, a lot of people, they'll have a snuffer bottle and they'll suck all the gold out, you know, and then when they get home, they really don't find much. So
They've
it's
already
like,
sucked it up.
yeah, because the majority of the stuff they already got out in the field, and some people like doing that because they don't have to do much at home. But me, on the other hand, I like that enjoyment of panning it out and finding that. You know, that just really keeps me in the ball game by doing that. Because if I do it out in the field and I go home, then I'm like, man, you know,
I got nothing to
I'm
do.
not, I'm not on the gold, you know. And it's like, I get the enjoyment of actually myself. So,
Yep, I know some people love to pan. Speaking of panning, have you been practicing with that gold claw yet?
no, I haven't, because my next project that I'm working on now is I'm actually working on my dredge.
Ah, right.
Well,
when you go to run that sage you got from Ray, use that pan, that gold claw.
I actually did, but I didn't have the proper tub to be doing it in. I actually had a real narrow tub, so I really couldn't get the action back and forth than what I supposedly did. You know, so I really I need to do it the proper way to see if it would actually work for that. You know, so I mean, I got, like I said before, building stuff. You know, I built a high banker box, and I built another high banker box for another guy, 10-inch one, pretty much. And then I got into building these cleanup sluices. And, you know, I've had people ask me to build, and I don't have a problem building for people. You know, I charge to do it, but I don't do it to make a living. You know, and everybody's like, well, why don't you put it on the site? Why don't you start selling them mass production? I don't want to do that.
That becomes a job.
Yeah, and I want to do it when I want to do it. I don't want to be pressured. You know, most of the people, if I know them, I'll build them a box, I'll send it to them and say, try it out. And if you like it, then pay me. If not, you ship it back. You know, and because I like to see them happy with the product.
Right.
No, that's usually what I do, you know, and then I have a bunch of people that say, well, you know, I'll get the money and send it to you. I'm like, no, you know, I don't want to be pressured to build it. I build it when I want to build it. But now I'm not going to be building anything till after Christmas because I've got this dredge apart now. So, but
your dredge apart, right.
We have a question here in the chat room. From I Stay You Go, he said, what would you guys suggest to put in a dredge for small flake gold, flat flake gold?
Well, that's the famous saying, each is your own.
I mean, I say too.
Well, that's why I put in the chat room, Dream Mat, Hog Mat, Miner's Moss, and Expanded Metal. Whatever.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit here for you to put Vortex in when a lot of other products work too. You know, I mean,
Dream. And then he doesn't give you enough information either. Flat gold, I mean, what kind of material are you running? Are you running clay? Are you running, loose gravel? All that stuff makes a difference. It just takes you to figure out what you're going to be running and what is actually working best for you. I mean, I've gone through a lot. I mean, I started off with carpet ripples and all that, just like everybody else. And, well, I want to try something different, and I tried something different. That works good too. And then I come to find out, really, it's what you like. It's what you
I mean, you can put all the money you want into something.
Sure.
You know, if you have it, but you're going to be particular on one thing. You know, one thing you got to remember is I don't know if it's true for you guys, but what's your best pan? Majority of everybody's favorite pan is one of the first pans they got.
Right.
Because that's what you were taught on, that's what you used, and that's what you experienced.
You learned on it. Right. That's what you learned on.
No. I mean, my favorite pan's an 1849 11-inch wide bottom because I love the space to be able to work the material.
Right. I like the wide bottom too. I don't like the
somebody likes 14. Yeah, some people like the big 14 inches because they can do more material.
I like a little finish pan and a spoon at a time.
Everybody has their own thing that they like to do.
gravel and only gravel. Same person. I stay, you go. Um, gravel, and only gravel. Wow.
Gravel and only gravel.
Well, drop
Gravel comes from sand size to pebble size to when does it become a gold, not gravel in a boulder or a big rock?
And I just found out with my equipment, it's just a matter of lifting or lowering the box and letting it clean out quicker or letting it build up a little for me wherever I'm
that
at.
and water
Right.
volume and pressure and
Right,
there's a lot
right.
of factors that
Yeah.
go into it. And
Right,
then
and-
that's where you go back to Jesse's thing. He always says it. I agree. I know you two do too. It's knowing your equipment.
Learn your equipment. Learn how to use that wrench.
And everybody, you know, and it actually started out putting a sluice box in the stream. I hated it. You know, I really hated it because I could never
that's a lot
get
of work.
the V. You know, just trying to get that perfect V coming
Mhm.
into your flare, coming into your box.
Right.
You know, you're in a stream and you can't find the perfect rocks to put in there to get that where you want it.
Hold it
you know?
down. Right.
And it's very frustrating, you know.
And that was the first thing I did with my sluice box, my stream sluice box. I made it into a little, I don't know, high banker type thing. I classified material, run it through that. That way I controlled the water flow. You know, the hell with it's, you know, trying to work the stream itself because, first of all, it's always going to be different. And you may be starting off at, you know, one level and then an hour later, it's changed. You know, it's got deeper, it's got lower, you know.
Right.
The water
comes up and then there you go, you got to shim it some more, you know.
Or like when you're at Bill's, there's way more heavies than there is when you're someplace else.
Right.
And
Oh,
that comes an experience to be able to look in the box and see if it's loading up or not. You know,
Right.
to knowing what you need to do. You know, if you notice fat material's loading up on you, hey, you know, I either need to increase the water flow or I need to increase the tilt to wash it out.
Right. See how the material's dancing behind the riffles.
Exactly.
And the exchange rate and all that. Yeah.
Right. All that determines feed, time, your angles, how much water you need to put in through your sluice. All that is determined by you looking in the box and going, well, nothing's moving. It's all just sitting there. I need to change something. So you change something, and you work it until you figure out how to run that particular piece of equipment to get your best capture rate.
Right.
That's what we're after. We're after that capture rate.
Right, and yeah, I build those cleanup sluices. You know, I use Vortex in them, and I actually, I talked with Ken, and basically what we did is I used the design that I use for a regular high banker and turned it into a miniature one.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 7 inches wide, like 30 inches long, and basically it has a spray bar and a slick plate, so it washes the material up. It has no back on it. It's not it doesn't have a grizzly bar or anything in it.
Right.
It's basically for fine material. 1/8 inch and below. Yeah, it's a cleanup sluice. It's basically for 1/8 inch material and below. And what I do is I classify all my material in my classifier buckets out of the stream, and I classify her to 1/8 inch. And then I bring them home and I run them through that cleanup sluice. Now, my cleanup sluice that I build basically has Vortex matting with a roll bar riffle set. And these are roll bars. And the reason why I did that is because I did a lot of research in it. And if you actually, I forget the one name of it was an old book that came out a long time ago. It was Crimson or something. I can't remember the exact name of the PDF file. But it actually, it gave you research on hydraulic riffles, roll bar riffles, angle riffles. And I kind of liked the way the roll bar riffles were. And what that does is that material works as the same as a regular riffle, but at a lower pace. So when that material and that fine black sand goes over top of them riffles, it does the same thing. It deposits the gold right where it needs to be. So basically, I came up with Ken said about putting some roll bar riffles in there, so I had a set made, and I put it in there. And mine, depending on if you're a high area of black sand, you actually have to run it through 2 or 3 times because that vortex matting will catch that black sand. And the third time that you run it through it, there is no black sand at all. You have all the black sand and gold right in your thing, you know. So that's what I like.
Right, and there's another point right there too. What you just said. There isn't anything out there that catches everything 100%. So,
no, and if they claim it does, they're lying.
Everybody can claim it, you know.
Yeah,
claiming it and doing it.
I'm a firm believer, you know, and people's gonna argue with me, and that's just how it is. But I am a firm believer. If you're losing black sand, you're losing gold. You know, because what happens mostly out west is a lot of those areas that black sand has gold in it, and if you're letting that sand go, you're losing gold.
That gold trapped in the black sand's so small. I mean, it's like razor's gold, you know.
I know, but it's still
true. There's a lot of work to it, but we're not out there mining black sand. You know?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
If you're gonna go, you can send that material off to a smelter though, and or to an assayer first. Get a fire assay, see how much gold, platinum, silver's in it, and then you can send that material off to a smelter, and they'll send you back either a check or your precious metals.
Right. Yeah, and I've heard people doing that before, you know.
Right. And again, that depends too on where you're prospecting and mining at. There are some areas that don't have as much black sands.
Correct.
Or your black sands aren't really carrying gold, you know, because like with us, it's all glacial. So our black sands really aren't carrying the gold as much as they're mixed in with it, you know. So like anything I run on the Cooley 7 with the Dream Mat up the back, I run 2 or 3 times only because that's how I want to make sure when I get to the point where I'm only getting one piece out of that same material, I'm done with it, you know.
The Goose wants to know what's it normally cost to have an assay done.
I have no idea anymore.
You guys go ahead and talk. I'll be right back.
Well, it's 9 o'clock. On that note, let's have a little word from one of our friends and one of our key sponsors here at Tuesday Night Hangout Live. All right. See you in a minute. Well, less than a minute. About 24 seconds.
Do it.
And yes, Randy, we are graced by the presence of the celebrity, the He-Man of Devil's Canyon, Mr. Sluice Goose. That's him. And hopefully, if all goes out, all goes right. I know he works evenings, I believe. Can I say it, Goose? Can I tell it? Can I ink it in?
Tell me now.
If I see a big yes in the room, I'll shout it out. That's taking it a little far. That's
I'm
the way,
back, guys.
buddy. Keep it real. Welcome
All
back,
right.
my friend.
Yeah, we were talking about the black sand and stuff before there. You know,
Right.
like I said, I'm a firm believer in that, and everybody has their own things. And what I actually do is when I run it through mine twice, through my cleanup sluice, I will classify it out again. You know, I'll classify it to 30, 50, and 100. And then that's when I pan. And really what happens is once you run it through that cleanup sluice, now you went from pretty much to either a 3-gallon or a 5-gallon bucket of material processed down to, you know, like 1 or 2 cups. So now you're doing 1 or 2 cups of material that's basically, you know, into a couple spoons, depending on what, you know, you're going to have more of your 30 mesh than you will your 50 and your 100. But I mean, the 30 mesh is pretty easy when you go to panning out because it's either gold or nothing because all the material is the same size. You know, and then when you're dealing with your 50 mesh, then that's when you start having black sands that are the same size of your gold. And it's a little bit pretty easier to pan, you know, too. But when you get down to your hundreds, then that's when you really got to do, you know, like maybe a spoonful at a time, depending if you're in a high concentrated area with your really, really small gold, you know. So that's pretty much how I do my cleanup.
Have you ever worked with magnets?
I have, and that material that actually I did from Razor, I actually ran that, once I ran it through the cleanup sluice and I got it under my classifications, 30, 50, and 100, I ran the magnet through there a couple times, dropped and picked, dropped and picked, dropped and picked.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much my procedure when I use a magnet. I'll drop it and pick it 5 times. You know, that way I know I'm not having any gold sticking to the magnet at all.
Well,
And that's how I usually get magnetics out, yeah.
I built a little 6-inch cleanup sluice using the Dream mat, right? And you know how that mat, like the Gold Hog mat, it's really thick.
Right.
So I built a ram to put in front of it, and I used rare earth magnets to hold it down. I stuck a row to the bottom of the sluice, taped it down with that black Gorilla tape.
Oh, okay.
Ran my mat up to it, and then I took and put another line of the same size magnets on the ramp, covered that with Gorilla tape, and I ran the material. So when I did that holds the mat down, creates pressure on the mat, right? But what that did when I was running material, it captured all the magnetics.
Right.
And the thing that I noticed, I think I sent Ed the picture, I'm not sure. The thing that I noticed is that it created a
Eddie.
Well, yeah, a riffle as it built up. It got bigger and bigger. It created a back riffle. So what was happening is the water would come down and kind of build up there, right? And swirl around backwards there and then go over. Now, I know that the gold is going to catch, the magnetics are going to catch gold. I realize that. I know it. But when I stopped running that material, I looked and I had a line across the whole back of that ripple of gold. Fine gold, bigger gold. So I think what's happened is that's created a reverse ripple right there, and it's creating a drop zone. So I'm really liking that. I'm really liking that. I think that's how I'm going to go with a product that we're getting ready to put out.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, it's and like I said, I know there's gold trapped in it because afterwards, I And what's nice about you covering the magnet with tape is that I can take it and brush it all off. The little water, it just all comes right off. Yeah, it just all comes right off. It's not really stuck to the magnet. It's stuck to the tape. So it just drops into my pan, and that seems to catch quite a bit of gold there. And I'm kind of liking that. I don't know if
That's a different approach to it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, that guy at the gold show had that like aluminum piece of bent aluminum with that blue stuff in the bottom, and it had a magnet on it. Did you see that down there at the end of the pan and tubs?
No, no, I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was just like a piece of sluice box. It's a little piece of sluice box cut out. It had like a magnet in the bottom and then like a blue film on top, and the magnets were staggered. And this guy would just take big scoops of dirt and shake it off, and all the magnetics and the gold would stick to it.
Right.
It was interesting.
And what's nice about that is, first off, I got rid of the magnetics out of my material, which is always a good thing. And second, it does capture gold. And I was surprised, how much it did catch. And I know people go, oh, well, it catches gold. And I'm going, yeah, is that a bad thing? I mean, really? I mean, other than having to separate it from the magnetics, but you can do that with your other magnet, put it in your pan and, like you said, do it 4 or 5 times, drop it apart. But I like the fact that I've already got it separated before I even pan it.
Right. Yeah, I have one of those like purple ones, basically, the famous purple one. It has a little thing on. You push the button down, magnetic, and then you let it up and it drops it. Yeah.
Right. Yep.
I use an earth magnet, so I got to pan my magnetics because that earth magnet will jerk it right up out of the pan, gold and all.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it does.
You got to watch that.
Well, that's what I have. That's what I have in the sluice box. But like I said, they're taped up. They're
feel
covered.
Like taking any phone calls tonight?
Sure.
Rich?
Yeah, bring them on.
Use this phone number brought to us by our friend Bill Brewer at Carolina Prospectors. If you feel like calling in and talking to us and asking our guest a question, lines are open now.
What's that number?
Oh, it's 419-741-4090. 4090.
There you go.
419-714 or 741-4090. My dyslexia kicking in there for a second.
It's all right. It's rolling at the bottom of the screen. It's rolling at the bottom of the screen. They'll see it.
Yep. Yeah, I'm working on my project right now. Of course, I bought a 4-inch jed from Jonathan. So Dennis actually had that in the water for me when we went down to Bill's. And I got to use it. And there was a couple things that I really didn't like about it. But it caught gold, and it did what it was supposed to do. And I had a good time. I actually pulled like 2.2 grams out of there that day. So that weekend.
Oh, that's good.
So that was a real good weekend, and it was really good gold. I mean, but of course, everybody has their own thing. They want to try to make stuff better. And
that's what we do.
Yeah. So I had a little issue with
a good product and tweak it to fit us.
Research and development.
Issue with the carburetor, so I ended up buying another carburetor online, and I ended up rebuilding that one then. But I wanted to get it back together. So I basically put another carburetor on, fired it up, and I basically mounted it to my mounting plate, and I ended up screwing it into a piece of wood and screwing it into some horses there, and that's how I tested it. And I basically had it off of the dredge just on a salt and a big trash can underneath the water.
You're breaking up really bad, Rich.
What?
Are you on your phone or laptop?
Yeah, I'm almost home. How about I just hold on and you guys continue to talk?
Can
you hear me?
Yeah, but I know on my end you're breaking up pretty bad.
You are here. You are here too.
And
You go ahead and talk. Okay.
Okay.
okay, hop back in the group once you get home. I'll keep the phone line still open. So if anyone wants to call. We'll take the question. When our friend Rich gets back, we'll ask that question. And,
Call
or
now.
if you just want to call and BS,
Well,
it's
so there's a conversation going on right now about the magnets that I was just talking about.
Yeah, I'm watching it too.
And the reason that I use Gorilla Tape, first of all, I can take it off and reuse the tape. That's what's nice about that tape. Second of all, I don't really want my material to come in contact with the magnets at all. No, because I can't get it off. Well, rare earth
it's a real pain.
You're not going to get it off. So that's why I cover them. In fact, on one of my sluices, I have the magnets are actually wrapped in tape and then taped down again. So yeah, I'm just trying to keep the dirt and magnetics from actually sticking to the magnets themselves. So that's why I use the black Gorilla Tape. Like I said, first of all, it can get wet and you let it dry and reuse it, as opposed to your typical duct tape.
Oh.
Yeah, the Gorilla Tape. That's what I like about that stuff is if you're working with it and you get it wet. All you gotta do is let it dry out, air dry, and you can use it again. Hell, that's what I was using for my goat hog mats. I didn't glue my goat hog mats together because depending on where I was, I would change the configuration. You know what I'm saying? I'd move them around a little bit. So if I glued them together, I wouldn't be able to do that. But the tape holds it down good, and it's reusable. If I ever, want to switch them around, I can do it and retape them. I know everybody says you need to glue those together, but I did ask Doc about that, and he said, no, you can go ahead. You don't need to glue them together. You got a good Gorilla Tape. You hold them together. That's all you need.
Huh. Get you some of that Flex Seal tape. They say it holds underwater too.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you can reuse it though. You can't reuse it.
Yeah, I haven't tried it. So.
And then they say you can spray a screen door bottom on a boat with Flex Seal, and it will float.
Works. Yeah, that stuff works good. The tests are all real tests. The problem with the Flex Seal, I use it in a wooden sluice box because I thought I'd make it waterproof. First sluice box I ever built, right? I said, well, I'll take this Flex Seal, I'll spray it down and coat it, it'll be great. And I used it a couple times, tested it here at home, and the dirt just wore it right off. I mean, boom. You can't use that stuff when there's any kind of abrasion going over it because it won't hold up.
I ended up using truck liner, bed liner for spray for my 2 fluid bed sluices I have. The ones that look a lot like the bazooka.
Right.
And that seemed to work pretty good. Plus, it's waterproof also, but it isn't flexible like the Flex Seal spray.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it does stop leaks, but you can't have any kind of abrasion or anything like that running over it because it'll wear right. It wears right out. It's not meant for that.
Right.
See, so it's already been prospector tested.
Yeah. It failed the test.
Failed.
Yeah, I think I tried to use it for a water table too, but that didn't work. Didn't work.
I think Rich is back.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, it's easy.
Did you get back in? Oh, I hear some rustling.
Sounds like he's putting on his headset or something.
Yeah.
Hello. Rich, are you there?
Yeah, he was talking about putting them slick plates in boxes earlier. I put one in.
Yeah, I was trying to join you here. I'm
Oh,
actually
God.
on my phone. I was trying to join you on Skype, but it won't let me in.
It sounded like it did let you in.
He's on his phone. Want to
Yeah.
hang up your phone and I'll call you again and bring
That'll
you
work.
in again on Skype?
That'll work.
All right.
But yeah, he talks about slick plate. I put
Give me
one in the
two.
Franklin's box, and they started finding gold finally when I put it in there for them. They started doing pretty good.
Good. Got to help our fellow prospectors out whenever we can.
And I put one in Mr. Tim's box, and he said that made an improvement having a slick plate in it. He was pretty tickled about it, too.
Well, it gives the material time to get wet, separate, settle down,
Right,
or
work
start
itself
running over your
up.
mats. Yeah, right.
Because everybody asked me why I had mine in my Han coop, and I said, well, that's the way it came. I don't know, but it works. It dumps everything at the back of the box, classifies it, and spits it out.
Hopefully this will bring Rich in. Oh, man.
I see you working on it over there.
Yeah. I'm working on it. Come on.
Oh, no, I don't shovel big rocks, David. Trust me.
Who
I'm
likes
old.
shoveling big rocks?
Yeah. Anybody that shovels any big rocks that I shovel is because I'm watching someone else do it. I'm going, yeah, that's me.
I roll them aside and get what's under them.
Yep. Although my speed banker that I just got, I haven't really been able to run yet. I can run up to 3-inch rocks right through it.
All that speed banker.
Yeah. I just can't wait to get it out somewhere and run it hard for a day just to see how much material I can run it.
At this point, we're working on spring, brother. At this point, we're working on spring.
I'm biting the bit on that too, Jesse. Well, it isn't frozen yet, Dano. It ain't
I know,
frozen. Buddy. We don't have to break through ice.
Like we did at Pirates Cove at one time.
No,
right.
That wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I did worse. I went down to Bill's in December and 6 inches of snow on the ground and 60 degrees and all gone by noon.
Right.
I'd like to get out again. I'd actually like to go down to the Double D for a weekend here if it warms back up.
That'd be nice. I keep on trying to call Rich and it ain't doing it. I don't know, Rich, if you're out there and you can call back in. Get back in on your phone.
I can't bring him in, right?
No, we can't do it. Ed's the main caller.
Right. Doggone it. Yeah, if you... Oh, Rich.
It says he's unavailable for some reason.
I don't know. Doggone it. That doggone Murphy.
Yeah, Murphy. He's a good friend of ours.
Wow. I don't like him.
Well, he hangs around with us anyway.
He got you. He got you tonight, buddy. That mic was muted again. He got you.
Yeah.
So I guess I can talk a little bit about our sluice boxes.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Jesse. Why I'm trying to bring Rich back.
Right. Well, as you know, we kind of been pushing the dream mats a little bit because we do like them. So I had some sluice boxes built for a limited production of Sluice boxes. We're going to have a 6x16 little cleanup sluice with the concentrator green mat in it. We're going to have 8-inch stream sluice. It's 8 by 40, I think. 8 by 46, I think. I have to measure it. Yeah, 8 by 46. And we're going to have a 10-inch. Same length. We're only going to have a few of these to get rid of. We haven't quite worked out all the details. I guess I'm kind of curious as to, would you guys, if you were interested in buying one of these, would you want it with a screw down hold ramp or magnetic? Magnetic will change the price a little bit, but not much, maybe $10. Screw down, you know, it's going to be our regular price. No, they're not foldable, Ronald. Now the little 6x16 is a nice little box that you can actually use as a stream sluice. You know, fits in a backpack. So it'll be something. As soon as we get some pictures up and get some prices figured out, we'll be posting them on our page up here. Henry says my screw down. Those are that would work too. That's not a problem. I like the magnetics myself because, like I said earlier, it does create a reverse ripple on it, which catches gold. But however you want it. And well, hopefully this week we'll get some pictures up of them. I've got the boxes. I've got some mats in them, but they're not held down yet. They will be. And what I like about the fit of these boxes is, one thing I've noticed is material doesn't get down the sides and underneath. A little bit.
When you pull the mat out, it's fairly clean.
Yeah, it's like might have a little bit of sands along the edges, but very little. You know, so that's really nice. Is he back? Did I hear him?
Sorry about this.
There he is.
All right.
Yay! He's back.
Stand on your
This is a
tippy
nightmare
toes.
when you're dealing with Skype.
Yeah. You ain't got to tell us.
I'm telling you.
See, now you're breaking up again.
You can hear me all right now? Really?
Yeah. There you go.
Okay,
better.
now you're good.
Y'all stay right there. Don't move.
Put that tinfoil back on your head.
That's right.
Yeah, usually I don't have any other problems with it here at home. So I tried to switch off the phone. When I did, it disconnected me from Skype.
You sound really good now. You're coming in just fine.
You're good.
I got a big mouth anyway, so.
That's what gets us in the creek so early, buddy. After you feed us, you kick us all into the creek.
Yeah. And, Ed, do you have a list yet of people that commented tonight?
Oh yeah, I have one going here. Let me.
Okay, you want to give something away?
Let me put it up on. Let me take another copy of the participants.
Get active in the chat, folks, if you want in on the giveaway.
That's right. Basically, I'm gonna give away a Cronies Club mug. And I actually had these made for the Crony Club.
David Bogan just left. He's going to be mad.
Yeah. Well, he actually has one. Him and his wife got one at the Crony Club outing. So, but yeah, I'm going to give one away. The thing of it is, you got to be active in the chat room, and you have to be in the United States. Sorry, I can't ship outside the United States. It's a heavy mug, and it's pretty costly to ship it. So. I'm going to give one away tonight, and I think that'll be pretty awesome.
So I say you go. Where are you at?
Oh, there's Mr. Lucky Birthday Boy just got in. He spoke up.
Who said that, Jesse?
What was that?
I believe Rasta man's in the UK. I'm sorry, brother.
No. I stay, you go.
Yeah, he said
Oh.
he's yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's
sorry
overseas.
guys, you're not in the U.S., but it's
Sorry. I
the-
believe Rasta's also in the UK.
I apologize, guys.
All right.
Well, I understand. You know John Pirate Dredger.
Yeah.
He went I through IAPAN for Gold during Cabin Fever giveaway. You know, I've done those a couple years in a row.
Right.
Michael was a sponsor of it, and John won a sample bag from Michael from IPAN for Gold, and he's like, "Oh, I'll send it. It's okay," and ended up costing him like $36 or so.
Yeah.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to
Sorry,
go there.
guys.
Yeah, I ended up shipping a mug to Vegas and one to Arizona, and they ended up being $35 a piece. So
Really?
yeah, and the mugs are only like 15. We sell them on GPS there for $15. So
Okay, I don't think I have any duplicates. Now, oh, I gotta get Jesse Mendez off here.
No.
but
I actually have
I'm
a couple.
gonna give you. Somebody can type it in the room there then. But here's my email address. Whoever the winner is can email me your name and address. I'll write your name down also.
I'll put the email out in the chat room here.
You're right.
Bit.
Not a problem.
I got it right here. Let me see. I saw Rignad man's name here. Oh, sorry, Dano.
strike me off, brother. That's how it goes.
Yep.
Okay, now that flash in your pan, dude, he has to go.
Dick Goldsmith, solid gold mugs, he says.
Sure, why not? You produce the gold. You produce the gold, Dick.
Okay,
How many
I
people
don't
do we have in the
Dick
chat room tonight, guys?
Goldsmith up here, so I need to put Dick in. Dick
Well, we
Goldsmith.
got right now. We got 20 people watching.
And we got 30 likes. That's
And
good.
30 likes.
Excellent.
That's good.
Excellent.
For you that haven't hit that like button, hit that thumbs up, folks.
We had a really, oh man, we're kind of far in it. I think our top numbers so far tonight was about 30. So that's good. I like that. Thank you very much, everybody out there. I really appreciate it. Okay, I'm going to show the whole screen, and we'll...
Oh, Goose is saying he needs to get back with Prospectors Radio too because they asked.
I
him to
agree
be
with
on.
them.
So you better get
yes.
back with them.
Oh yeah, our good friends at Prospectors Radio. You betcha.
Yeah, we basically came up with the Crony Club, to actually support the site, and that was one of the things that, you guys know as well, is try to keep a radio crew going. We don't get paid for anything. We try to keep the site going. And to do that, you need funding. So we basically came up with.
I'm not getting paid.
What was that?
I'm not getting paid.
No. Well, unless your check's in the mail. I don't know.
Yeah, Jesse, your check's in the mail. You too, Dana. It should be there somewhere in 2025 or something like that.
Yeah. So we came up with the Crony Club, and basically $20 a year. And what that does is that different sponsors when they have it in the club.
Right. Well, here, let me shoot
and then
the
we try to
list.
have an outing every year. Go ahead.
Let me shoot the list over so our viewers can see it. All right, there's our list. We have David Bogan. We have Bob, which in the chat is down east, detecting and prospecting, even though he's in Maine. Wouldn't that be up east? But we have Eric Carter, Henry Clinton, MDV. We have Jaron, buddy. We have Pam, Patrick, Chris. Chris still in the house? I think he left. Randy Hunt, Ronald, Sluice Goose, Thomas, Lucky Ducky Dog Folks, John Shaw, Rostaman. Am I correct? Or I can't see the chat, guys. Are
Did you get Patrick Moore in there?
UK? Patrick Moore. Patrick Moore. Now I do. But I don't. I think I was talking to him in comments, and he was saying he was in the UK.
Troy, no con. He says he don't see him.
Okay, well, drum roll, please. Thank you. Oh, I don't believe this.
Oh no!
Lucky dog.
I don't believe this. No, Dick Goldsmith.
Well, now
He won last.
he won
week,
last
didn't he?
week. Yeah.
Yeah, we might have to sit down and make a rule about this. And since I have no disclosures about winning more than one,
We
winning
usually do
more
it 30
than-
days on ours, but
Right,
it's your
right,
show, so.
right. I haven't said that, and I haven't done it yet, but I probably should. What do you think, guys? Let's ask Mr. Goldsmith.
Let's see what Dick thinks about it. Let Dick answer you.
What do you think, Dick?
Oh,
No,
he says, what does it say? 2 D's back to back. Woohoo!
Well, now I could see everything. You guys are seeing it also, almost. The screen chat has stopped. Yes, I go over to the live where it says live by your pause and unmute or mute button. If you hover above live, you press on it, it will bring back your everything.
Dick said to pass it on.
Pass it on? Okay, Dick,
He said
thank you
just type
very
that in.
much.
Dick's a
All
good
right.
guy.
Dick's
Yeah,
a very
he's-
good guy and a very good friend
We're
of
still gonna
ours.
make that rule.
We'll
And
make it up to
Mel-
him at the creek. He knows that. We'll make it up to him at the
Okay.
creek.
Okay. Dick's a very good man.
That's right.
For being a dick.
Yeah, he's no Richard.
No, he is a dick.
No,
All right. One more time. Drum roll, please.
Ding!
Mr. Patrick Moore.
Well, now.
Thank you for playing the game, Patrick Moore, and I believe he's also a Crony Club member.
Yeah.
So excellent.
Yeah, just put my email address in there, Patrick, and then get my email address and send me, of course, your address. I might even have him on Facebook too. I'm not sure.
Probably do.
You probably do.
I do. Patrick, if you want to, just send it to me in a message on Facebook. I know I have.
Now, if anyone has any questions about anything or whatever, or you want to email that information to him, Patrick, here's his email address.
He said
Do you
he'll send it
mind-
to him on Facebook here.
Do
Right.
you mind taking questions from people via email, Rich?
Yeah, they can.
Okay, here's
Through my
Rich's
email address up there.
email address. I believe that's correct. Lukey2005@hotmail.com.
That would be me.
Excellent. Congratulations, Patrick.
Yep. Congrats, Pats.
What do you mean you're not a Crony Club member, Patrick? You better head over there and become a member today.
Is that the address we send the nudie pics, the Goose says?
Yeah, Goose.
I figures Goose would say something like that. Yeah, figures the Goose would say something like that. I know, I don't care.
You can also send digital nutrients that way too, right?
Yeah, so I was talking before a little bit about what I'm doing in the box. Basically, my dredge came with a 2-piece riffle set in it, and it actually came with expanded meadow on the back with miner's moss with rib matting underneath, and then the second compartment up underneath the first riffle set there, it had miner's moss, and then at the end it had, underneath the last riffle set, it had green carpeting. So basically, when I went to try to clean this thing out, you had to flip both of these up. Well, that was such a pain to try to clean out. I mean, it was just miserable. You couldn't get water back behind it to get the material out, and so I decided I'm going to rip the whole thing apart and start over. So
how long's your box on that?
It's 46, I think 45, 46 inches long.
Oh, okay.
16 inches wide.
So what was the purpose of 2 separate ripple bars? I mean, 2 separate sections.
That's what it came. I don't know. Some of the sluice boxes have 2 riffle sets in it, but that's how this one was. So what I'm doing is I'm making one. So favorite member there, David Bogan, ended up giving me a riffle set that came out of his when he got it, and it was a little bent up. So I got it to a friend of mine, and he's working on it now to reinforce it and to bend it back up. And that's actually a riffle set that is 3/4 of an inch high. And the one that was originally in it was 3/4 of an inches. So I'm going to actually put that one in. And then I'm actually going to have a different riffle set that's going to be 1 inch. So I'm basically going to have 2 different riffle sets that I'll be able to pop in and pop out. They will not be bolted in. They're going to be in the same kind of design, basically like a buckabilly sluice, to where you slide them in and clamp them down in the front. So they're going to be easy removable. That way you can pop them out and do a clean out and be back to rolling in no time. So
he's got it. Yeah, on the buckabilly, the back of the ripple
is at an angle.
Set there. Yes. Yeah, it's at an angle, so you slide it underneath the bolts he's got back there, and clamp her down. You don't have to.
That's why I like that setup. You know, I originally got the buckabilly sluice, was my first sluice. I got a little 7x24, and then I ended up getting the bigger one. And the bigger one is what I actually use for my high banker combo setup. I basically built a high banker box for that, and I love that sluice box. So that's basically what I use for that. But I kind of use that. I like cutting them out at an angle, and that way that slides right in. So you don't have to worry about it falling down, getting your fingers, hitting your head, doing whatever, you know.
Right, because you just pull it out of there, get it out of the way.
Yep. Pull it out, get out of the way, slide your matting right out, do a quick cleanup, wash the material out, and you're back to running again.
Right.
So, but there's some stuff that I need to do to it. I had the motor running good, drained all the gas and everything out of that, so I'm ready for next year. I ended up painting the water pump on it, gave it a nice paint job, and I'm cleaning up the sluice box now. Basically,
look all purty.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of extra holes in it that don't need to be there. Kind of look like Swiss cheese, so they were filled with silicone. So I pretty much took all that stuff out, and I'm gonna put some JB Weldon stuff on it and try to get those holes sealed back up. And but you know, I love the box. I love my dredge. There's nothing better than it because it's mine. You know,
right?
I love it, and it'll catch gold. You know, it caught gold before. It's going to catch gold still. You know, I love that box. It's just everybody has their own way they want to do stuff, and you know, and if it doesn't work, you go back to where it was before. I mean,
Right. Well, that's one of the advantages too of the people like you and Ed and a bunch of us that we're DIY guys.
right.
So so you get something like that. Okay, I want this dredge, and this is pretty much exactly what I want. But when you get it, you realize, well, this is not really working for what I'm doing. So let me change it here or tweak it there. Or, and that's what's cool about this too, is that we can take something like that and look at it a little different and go, hey, if I just do this
I
will
say
improve.
you go as another question, which I could answer if he's coming
Go ahead.
from a prospector on a budget side.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys made your own floaters for the dredge? Some do. I used on my float and even on Franken dredge, I did use some kind of homemade floats. I used water softener tanks I picked up off of a plumber. I know, Joe. So I used those and made my caps. I couldn't find any caps that worked except for those expandable test end ones, that you can put into the pipe and screw the wing nut and it tightens up on it.
Oh, okay,
Or you
test
can
plugs.
those ones I have for the floats Jesse and I use for SGS2s. It's electrical PVC conduit, the gray stuff. It's a 2-inch screw in and a cap. I forget which size cap, and then I cemented them together. A screw in and a cement slip union, a male screw, female slip, and then I took the cap and put it in the slip side and I glued it with PVC, the conduit cement. And those work excellent, I have to say. I probably have a video on it. Actually, I do. And videos where you see the floats. And you could use conduit for a frame and 15-gallon drums. They're fairly cheap. Usually pick them up for like $10 here in the States. Have you built any of your own floats, Rich?
No, I have not.
I've not built my own floats, but I have a set of floats that I got that were actually lounge chair floats that
for
I use.
Swimming pool.
Right. For your lounge chair. A
We
lot of
have
times
that
those
in
lounge
the
chairs.
video too.
Yep, those lounge chairs. Their weakest point is where the chair actually attaches to the float, and when they get damaged, it's not the float that's damaged; it's more the framework for the chair. You get some big-butted guy on there or gal on there, and that's the weakest point. So that's where they'll break or bend. People throw them away. Those make great floats for like a. I put my 1.5-inch pump on there. Works great. Cheap, free.
Right.
So not only do we fabricate, we scrounge and scrap and find all kinds of stuff to make our tools.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's terrible. I'll be at work or wherever, and no matter where you go, you look at stuff, and
right.
some of it, sometimes it's like, like the banker on my gold cube. I'm looking at a foot Butler MR24 roofing panel, and I'm like, I could use that for a hopper for my gold cube. Actually, I'm gonna make gym panning troughs out of them. You know, like the sluice boxes they have at gym, those gym stands and stuff at like Ohio Caverns and where you
Oh,
line
okay.
for gyms.
Mhm.
Judy
Right,
and I
right.
talked about doing something like that as a means to make money while we're retired, traveling to OS or LDMA outings and stuff like that later on. So, you know, gotta have some income coming in while we're traveling around.
Right.
But,
And you can pretty much make floats out of a lot of different things. I know
oh,
people that
yeah.
have made floats out of the 5 gallon buckets that they get at car washes.
Oh,
They
yes.
got 10
Detergent
gallons,
buckets,
right?
yeah.
Right. I mean, they have 15-gallon plastic drums. You know, like the
Yeah,
55-gallon ones. They
right.
got them in 15. They got them in 20. Those are usually pretty cheap.
Yeah, I think
If you
mine were
can't,
15.
yeah, if you can't build them yourself, if you just, you scrounge around for that stuff, you can find it.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Canisters, if you see something that could be used, yeah.
Mhm.
yeah,
Eh,
I know. I look at everything and I go, can I use that in prospecting somehow? That's terrible. My wife gets mad at me.
Yeah, I got that screen like that, that mesh. I got that stuff just by asking at a gravel pit.
right. You never know. Oh, it never hurts to ask. What's the worst thing that can happen?
They
Right.
took me to the junk pile and said, "Is this what you're looking for?" I said, "Perfect." They threw the whole chunk in my truck.
Well, that ain't the worst thing that can happen. That's the good thing.
That's the best thing.
Yeah, you know, wire mesh is really hard to find. You know,
I'm learning that woven
it,
wire mesh.
and that expanded metal is the same way. You know, and it's pretty expensive if you try to go to a weld shop or something, try to buy it. You know, for a 4x8 sheet, you're looking at almost $100. You know, so
Mm-hmm. And that was a 4 foot by 4 foot sheet I got. Just had a couple holes wore in it.
yeah. Yeah, all that stuff is good to build your own equipment, but it does get pricey sometimes. You know.
Yeah,
Right.
man.
Yeah, especially when like all your building is one. You got to buy a whole sheet, just do one thing, and then you
Yeah.
got all that extra, and you got to do something with it.
I've gave everybody some of that screen. I've cut off chunks
I
for
got
about everybody I know.
I got some.
I got some on the way. I can't wait to get it because that's going in my dredge. So
Oh man, that stuff works well too. And if you notice when you get it, one side's kind of flat and the other's actually got a profile to it from where the rocks that hit it so much it wore one side off a little.
oh really?
Yeah, you notice the difference, and it works different as you flip it one way or the other.
Hmm.
So which way do you suggest would be better, with the profile side up or the flat side up?
When
I
I
would-
did it with mine, I stuck the profile side up and the flat side down because it tend to fill with black sands
Yep.
more. Turn it with the profile down, it wants to wash out under it.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's what I would say. I mean, it's almost like a raised expanded metal. You know, and
Right.
having that perforated edge on it, you know, it's gonna chop your material in there, and that's what you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick that piece in my speed banker because it has punch plate there underneath the crash box.
Right.
But it gets loaded up with rocks,
Right.
you know.
And see,
Although
that's where I
told-
replaced mine. I put miner's
Right.
moss in there when I gave you that screen because it was actually too much. It was blowing everything out of my mat underneath.
Mm.
Right. Well, I was told that not to worry about those rocks building up in there because that's what it's supposed to do, you know. So
Right.
okay,
Yeah, I don't agree with that, but
I mean, it's back there. It's flat. It's a flat
Mhm.
down there, and it's got a really deep V mat under it. Right.
right.
The problem that I was having with it is that the holes in the punch plate
Mhm.
get stuck with rocks right away. I mean, so I got a bunch of little rocks that I got to bang out. The only
And
thing I
they're-
didn't like.
Right, and that all goes back into having that material dumping straight down in, because
it
that's
doesn't.
what clogs up
Yeah,
that punch plate.
it does dump straight in because I'm just shoveling straight into it.
Correct.
But
That's
but
why.
according to the person that made it, they said, don't worry about that. Just keep dumping into it. It will run out. It will eventually come out the front like it's supposed to. It just sits there and gets washed longer. So that's one of the reasons I want to take it out and run it for a day and run it not worried about it. See how it works.
Right, or actually just end up putting the slick plate in it so the material does go back. You know, Dano's all about that. He actually put one in Mark Franklin's down there at Bill's that time, you know. And Dano knows exactly.
It does have a slick plate.
Yeah, and they actually started getting gold after that. Imagine that.
Yeah.
It does have that slick plate like
the
Cooley 7. Yeah.
Okay.
But the punch plate down at the bottom above the deep V mat, that's where I'm concerned.
Okay.
But like I said, I was told, don't worry about it. Just keep running it. Keep running it.
One other thing too is you don't really. I mean, I have wire mesh under mine, and then I have my punch plate. But what I did is I angled my punch plate in the back so the rocks wash off of it. So basically, what I did was I took screws with little nuts in it, and then I raised the back up and basically just put legs on the bottom of the punch plate. Raised your back up and lowered your front. So basically what that does, and that material comes down and them rocks will slide right off of it and it won't stay. And you'll still get the same action before.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So you angle your punch plate basically. And I'm talking like maybe 1/4 inch. You have it 3/4 high in the back and, you know, 1/2 inch in front, or vice versa, you know. 3/4 in the back, 1/4 inch in the front. So you have a little slope to it. It washes that rocks right off. They won't hang up.
Well, like I said, the problem I'm having is the rocks that fit right into the hole. Boom.
Right. I think if you angle it, though, I think you might find a difference. They might not hang up as much because they're falling, you know. And it could also be maybe that slick plate isn't long enough to be able to take the material to the back of the box. It's only bringing it a certain way, drop it right down into the punch plate.
Oh, no, it holds the material. The bigger rocks and stuff sit back there for a while and get beat up. And in fact,
I would say angle it. I would say angle your punch plate.
I had a clay ball hang up in the back there, but every time I looked at it, like I said, I'm trying to learn this piece of equipment, and every time I stopped to look at it, it was getting smaller. So it was getting beat up every time I put more material in there. It was getting beat up more. But it wasn't coming out of the box. It was just getting beat up and broken down, and that's cool. My big rocks do roll off the front like they're supposed to. I mean,
now, is this at a high banker? Running it as a high banker?
Yeah, that's the speed banker. That's the new piece of equipment I just got.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, I remember you sending me a picture of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I had it sitting there.
But in all reality, that should be washing that material up top. It shouldn't even be getting a chance to come down there. If that spray bar is pushing that material, kind of sucking that material up in and washing it, you know, to a boiling action, you know.
Like I said, my problem is that all the small rocks that are plugging up the holes in the punch plate.
Right.
You know, that's what I...
And maybe that woven wire will help you because it's rounded. It might bounce them out.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. We'll see.
Yeah, I keep losing Skype for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with this computer tonight.
You haven't went out really at all.
My screen goes blank, and then I click Skype and come back on, and I'm right back in it again. So I don't understand what's going on.
You're still on. You're not losing yet.
Well, all I'm looking at right now is I'm looking at a blue screen that has a Skype symbol on it. I see nothing else. And I don't want to touch a thing. As long as we're talking, I'm good to go.
No, that's, yeah.
I'm not touching a thing. I'm staying right here.
You're coming in fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Oh, I think I missed
Yeah, you know what's that word that you said before? McCready or whatever it was. Yeah, Murphy's Law. Yeah,
He
that
went to
got me.
visit Rich tonight.
Yeah, he won't go away. He needs to go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never have these kind of problems all the time. It's just one of those.
Like I said, Murphy hangs out with us, even though we don't really like him. He still hangs out with us.
Yeah. But that's
Is
basically my project. I'm working on that dredge, and I'm going to be doing that pretty much all winter. So I'm not going to be building any equipment until after Christmas, probably. So I have a
Yeah,
couple
I wish.
asking
I
about
wish.
it already. So.
I actually wish I would have had you build me an 8-inch one instead of the 7-inch one, but that's all right.
Well, I asked you. You know,
No, I didn't know I needed it then.
Yeah, I built them to whatever you want them.
Right.
I actually built that one for Dennis, an 8-inch one. And the only thing I really didn't like about that is that matting kind of fit in there real loose. And
did it?
that dream matting, it's got to fit in there real tight.
Yeah, it does.
So what I basically had to do with his is I ended up, you know how you tuck yours up on the back?
Mm-hmm.
I basically put a clip back there so the matting clips in that holds it in place so it doesn't wash out. Because if you don't have anything holding that down, it'll wash out.
Yeah, I haven't had that problem. Mine fits in pretty tight because I had to trim mine up to get it to fit in there.
Right. But when you're trying to build one with it, you don't have the right matting for it. You know, it's hard to build it without the matting.
Yeah, the sluice boxes that I had built for the mats, the mat sits in there nice and tight. I got no looseness on it. Nothing comes down the sides, so the bottom stays clean. It fits them just right.
Well, what's the trick of cutting them dream mats in there to fit them?
What was that?
What was the trick to cut the dream mat in there so it fits tight?
Fit the box to the mat.
Mm-hmm. Do you actually put the one end in and do it, or you just do true measurements and cut on the line?
Are you talking for making a box for it?
No, for cutting.
Oh, for our
when you cut the dream mat for the box.
Oh, that I just guessed it, marked it, guessed it. Oh, that looks good. I cut it here.
Okay,
and it fit fine.
Okay.
You know, I mean, for the Cooley 7 now, no, I don't have that tight seal on there.
Mm-hmm.
But for the boxes that we made for the dream mats, they fit snug because the guy that built the boxes used the dream mats to make it. You know,
correct.
Fit the boxes to the mats, so I have no problem there. The Cooley 7, that was pretty much just looks like I need to cut here, need to cut there.
It. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Much.
Yeah, when you're building equipment for other people, when you're going by measurements, you know, it's really hard to get it exact. You know, especially when you're building a hopper for somebody, and that hopper's got to fit inside their sluice box. Without having a sluice box here, you know, if you're a 16th of an off too short, too short, it's okay. But if you're 16th of an off too big, it ain't gonna fit no matter how hard you push.
No, right. You're not gonna squeeze that in there.
And you got to be exact when you're dealing with that stuff, pretty much.
Absolutely.
And I'm no professional by all means. You know, there's flaws in my products, and I'll admit that. You know, I'm not a factory built thing. I pretty much build them by hand. I don't have a jig. I pretty much build them straight up. You know. Yeah,
that's right.
They're custom made to the size you want. I mean, they're not perfect by all means, and but they'll get the job done, and that's exactly what I like doing. So,
well, I'm fortunate in the sense that I have a fab shop really close to me, and the guys will build stuff for me at a fairly decent price. You know, I mean they use scrap materials from other jobs, but hell, I don't care as long as I get what I want. You know, so now we're gonna have a few limited edition of Prospecting with Ed and Jesse sluice boxes.
Hey, there you go.
In fact, our boxes are
I would do a review for you.
Okay. You're starting to sound. You're starting to sound like me.
Well, I'm working on it, Jesse. I'm trying to model myself here.
But yeah, they should be pretty nice. They're just a limited edition. We're not going to have a lot of them, but we're going to be having on the Facebook page.
Right, and that's the same with me. I like I said, I don't do it for a living. I just do it to have fun, and I don't want to be pressured. And
look, our buddy Ken just showed up. Hey, Ken.
Ken, the Mountain Man.
Wow, Ken is here. How you doing?
Yeah, his ears were probably burning.
Well, that's why he knew we were talking.
Right.
Yeah, like I said before, Ken's my mentor. And I'd like to get out to see him next year. Hopefully, that'd be awesome. Get to do some hands-on experience.
Oh man, he says.
I had my mic on mute.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Well,
You're not
I've done
muted
that a couple
now.
times tonight. You're good now.
Thanks for joining us, Mountain Man. I don't.
Yeah, I mean he instills a lot of stuff. He instills a lot of stuff in me. Of course, gives me that motivation to keep on doing what we're doing, and especially with the show. He basically got me on the show, and I appreciate that, and I love GPS. GPS is a good thing, especially bringing everybody together. Outings.
Oh, absolutely.
That's so awesome. You get to see so many different faces. At the Crony Club outing, got to meet some of the guys that I never did before. John Bennett and his wife, and a lot of other people that got to dig with the Bogans again. That was awesome. I actually built I'm still waiting on a response for a sluice that I built up a miniature high banker for them. Excuse me, down in Georgia, and they deal with a lot of gems down there. So basically, she wanted a box to be able to use for gems and for gold. So it actually took me a long time to do it because, it's kind of hard to keep the gems and still keep the gold. So I had to do a little bit of tweaking.
I was going to ask you what will you do to catch the gems? I mean,
because
basically what I ended up.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today, actually.
Yeah. Basically, what I ended up doing is I ended up going with a smaller grizzly bar in the back, which she wanted to keep anything. She wanted to be able to hold the material up and wash it. So basically, that was like I have a 1/2-inch grizzly. Well, no, I think it's 1/4-inch grizzly set in the back. And anything bigger than that would actually hold on top. The medium stuff would hold up top. And I had to design it so the spray bar would actually push that material up in and hold it there and wash it. And then the bigger rocks would fall off the back. She would put a bucket there. But those gems would actually, they work with a lot of clay and stuff too. So when they go to put it. Are you guys still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
All right. That Skype ended up cutting out on me again.
Okay.
So it ended up, I designed it so it would wash the material up in there. And she could reach in and grab the gems out there. And then the material that would fall down through, I designed it on the punch plate at a certain angle. That way the medium rocks with the water coming down, the rocks, like you said, Jesse, these rocks would actually, the medium-sized rocks would stay on top of the punch plate and get washed off and then slowly work their way down through and I had a regular riffle set out of a Buckabilly sluice, 7x24, and I actually ended up putting that in there as the riffles with expanded metal. And the smaller gems would get caught down in the expanded metal, of course, with your black sand and your gold. And I was having issues with it either washing out too much because they wanted to use a 1-inch Harbor Freight pump, which is 2,220 gallons per hour. And it was a lot, it was a lot of, and 42 PSI. So it was actually a lot of water pressure going through that thing. But you didn't want to wash everything out either. So it was a challenge. I don't know if I want to build another one or not. It kind of pulled all my hair out of my head, but it gave me a heck of a challenge. But I'm still waiting on word from Matt. But she said that they did run it the one time and it worked okay. But I'm hoping that they'll get it tested and let me know how it did. So, but
we have a conversation going on in the room on Miller tables.
Oh.
Go ahead, guys. Keep talking.
No, that's fine. I actually have a Miller table, and I haven't been able to master it yet. I can't.
That's a real slow process.
I just can't seem to get the right V flow coming off the end. You're looking.
What the hell happened to my? You want it to look like a sheet of glass,
right? And mine doesn't. Mine looks all wavy. So I think my problem is that that scrubber mat or that 3M stuff that's underneath there. I actually ended up taking it out, and I have to get another piece of that.
Oh yeah.
What kind of mat?
The one I borrowed from Patrick, I had to clean out because they were so full of crap. I had to clean them out before I used it because they weren't spitting out right.
Yeah, it's like a 3M scratch pad, basically. It's almost like a miner's moss, but it's a scratch.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And it goes in underneath. Well, if that thing isn't sitting right, or if it's twisted, then the water is wavy. It doesn't come like a sheet of glass like it's supposed to. Right. I think that's my problem, I believe.
Bed liner, truck bed liner works good for a drop riffle sluice like Ken's talking about now.
Another way you could do it too is to make like an overflow box. In other words, you have a box that's sitting in it, and your water goes in the box, and it flows over the top, and
that's how I had on the one I made, Jesse, the reservoir, and it had an overflow dam. I had miner's moss on the bottom with like a 1/4-inch slot on the bottom of my tank. I loved it. I used like a cement board inside I believe it was like a 10 or 11-inch steel rim joist. You use it for rim joists or track for steel framing. It worked great. Next time I think I'll just paint the metal instead of going with that heavy cement board, but it still worked great. Actually, I got rid of that to a guy in Cali, my foster brother.
I noticed that the Biffles, their water table, Biffles, their water table. When you look at their videos, you'll see that it has kind of a rippley effect going down the table too. And I think they got one of Jim Hamilton's tables, right?
I'm not actually sure.
I think they have a Martin.
Yeah, but she runs hers at an angle.
Yeah, I was gonna say she runs hers at an angle. Their video shows when they do it, and she kind of leans the table a little bit. She's got a little bit different style of doing it.
Yeah, she runs hers at an angle that way, and they actually put a piece of I guess it's medical tape. They take medical tape at the end, and they run 2 strips of medical tape at the end. That way, if some of the gold does get away, it hangs up down there.
Yes, that's a pretty good idea. I use that Flex Seal, a blue Flex Seal paint for my surface, and at one spot I used actually like a sandpaper pad, and I went across it from side to side, so you just had that little tiny bit of sandpaper making grooves, and that was towards the bottom edge. The rest of it was just like an eggshell texture from
Uh,
the spray. Worked great.
the one that I made,
Right.
I used that Crafter's cutting pads. They're
Yeah.
self-healing cutting pad,
Mm-hmm.
and I use that, and that works really great. My problem, though, that I had with it was not get it sealed so that water wouldn't get underneath it. So I had to redo it, so make sure it's sealed. You know, there's always little problems when you try to build something.
Right.
And then you get disgusted and throw it down. And
That's
walk
part
away.
of the fun, and you get
Right.
mad and you can walk away from it for a while, and then you dream about it or something, and you're like, I know what will work.
Right.
You know?
Let me try this.
Right.
So yeah, that's DIY is fun, and it's one way to save money. And you can't afford, to go out and get some stuff, or you could be like me and just hustle stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's pretty much what I do then,
right. And,
And,
same.
And then we of course, we love getting together with everybody every year,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
camaraderie.
For the Crony Club and
Gold Rush.
Gold
Yeah.
Rush. Yeah. It
Gold show.
reminds me of the old Mountain Men rendezvous, where we come together once a year and stuff. I wish I would have made it to the Crony Club outing, though. But,
Yeah, the last day was kind of miserable by the weather, but
yeah, I heard it was pretty
That happens.
wet.
the ladies were like kicking everybody's butt. We was all out and they were still in the water. They wouldn't give up.
Well, Kathleen and Carrie.
Yeah, Kathleen and
geez.
Carrie, they were true diehard women. I'll tell you, they loved the dredging. They loved getting in, and you basically can't get them out of the water. They're in it for the long haul.
Right. They don't get out.
You were with
Die
us
hard.
last year at Pirates Cove, though, right, Rich?
Yeah.
When
that was
it
the cool
started
thing, too.
raining
That
and
one
stuff, and we
That one
had,
day it was like 17 degrees. That one
Yeah.
morning we were there.
and then the rain the next day, and you guys dredging away out there.
Yep.
She was going down.
Mhm.
We're panning and talking underneath Dennis Dayton's canopy.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. That's right, Dick Goldsmith. We're getting together. That's what we're doing right now. Getting together with a
That's
bunch
right.
of friends and talking, and shooting the bull, and
One good happy family.
yeah,
Just like when we're at the creek.
Yeah, definitely.
except we ain't got a fire to look at. I
Right.
suppose I can put one on the screensaver or something.
Yeah, and the good food cooking. Dano
Yeah.
makes some mean loins. He has them pork loins and stuff. They're delicious. Pork
Oh,
chops
man.
too.
Richie's always feeding you breakfast. Rich makes the big
Yeah, well,
breakfast.
He hasn't fed me breakfast yet. Oh yes, he has.
Well,
I
yeah,
thought
he
I
has.
Yes,
I thought I had.
has.
Surely you have ate from Rich. Surely.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
I'm
I
sure.
did.
And then
The Gold Rush days. I did my
Mary,
tongue.
Mary Lee's wife, she cooks a delicious breakfast.
Hmm.
And then I usually cook breakfast if Rich ain't around.
Yeah. And my famous ones, I love the potatoes, Do my
Oh, yeah.
potatoes with eggs and sausage, or eggs with bacon mixed in, like a goulash,
Yeah, man.
Dude, that's what I had for dinner.
That's a hearty breakfast.
That's what we had for dinner tonight.
Yeah, breakfast is good anytime. Yeah,
Oh hell yeah! And scrambled eggs, bacon,
Mm-hmm.
some toast, coffee. We were good. I didn't feel like cooking.
Oh, I don't blame you there. So what all do you have, Ed? What do you have now? I mean, you still have the small dredge, or what are you still using now?
Well, I got rid of my 4-inch because it's heavy and big, and I'm getting older. I miss it though.
Yeah.
And I was no help. I was no help carrying it because I'm even older than he is. So
And
I
so
said,
it
I ain't
was all
dragging this thing.
it was always dragging dredges, and uh, but I'm running the same thing Jesse is, Gold Snare SGS2.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
great submersible unit. You've seen it,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and yeah, that same dredge. And I've been thinking about maybe picking up a 3-inch Keen Mini, or if I could find something in a 3 by Allen Trees. I believe Gold Grabber, Dredge Builder's Warehouse, I believe he sold
Mm-hmm.
his company. So I'm not sure about where to go about to do that, or I'll build something in between. But
Mm-hmm.
I really love the Gold Snare. It's a great product. It's a great 2-inch, and it's so easy, you know.
Right.
Use a 2-inch pump or inch and a half pump. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy to carry. Oh, as what was that word Tim Grimes said about a dozen times last night? Easy peasy.
Easy
Easy
peasy.
peasy.
Yeah, that's
Right where
his
you want.
famous saying.
I haven't seen our buddy in here at all tonight. Doggone it. He
No,
said
he
he
said he
was
went to
gonna
the beer.
show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless he
If
forgot,
you
because he said
if
he
you
was going to join us.
yeah, if you remembered, he should
Well, we
know.
have, yeah, that's the Gold Snare 2 and the 1 we use quite a bit. That's our really our go-to machines. But now we're dealing with the
Dream mats
Great
and
Cat,
Mm-hmm.
and we're
so
looking at all these sluices, and I got us a high banker, and I don't know. You see how easy this is.
Yeah. Well,
But
now
I
you
got
have.
the same engine, I can use the same engine on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can even go up to a 2-inch pump on it and be fine. Down
Well,
to a 1.5 what we use, and we can run, the Gold Snare, and then Ed's using his Ed's using a power sluice with the green magnet.
yeah, you just run a T valve off, right?
Well, I wish it was that simple.
Mm-hmm.
We did when we were running both our Gold Snares with the one with this 2-inch pump.
Mhm.
That's what we thought. We're just throwing a splitter in there and we'll run both of them. But that's not the way water works. You have to. We had to valve both sides and adjust the pressure according to which Gold Snare was getting all the water.
Oh, okay.
Because even though it was a T,
Mm-hmm.
the water wasn't evenly dispersed,
Correct.
right?
okay,
One,
whatever you're doing right now, Jesse, is keep that way. The buzzing stopped.
oh, the buzzing stopped. Yeah.
Oh, it's coming back.
Well, it's not me. So we put this T on there, and we thought we'd be able to run both Gold Snares
Mhm.
just like that. But we realized right away that one Gold Snare was getting all the water, and the other one wasn't. So
Because of
back
the
to
way the T is facing, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so back to the drawing board. We decided we put valves on both the T's and adjust the water flow according to which one. Like
Correct.
if mine was getting all the water, I'd turn the water back on it, and he would get more water. So that's how we were. So it's not always as simple as just putting a T in,
Correct.
So, but that works out, and then and now that we're not using that one, we're both using 1.5-inch pumps.
Mm-hmm.
We now putting both pumps on his pontoons.
Oh, okay.
So again, we can still both run at the same time, but we're using our own pumps, and it's a lot easier to carry.
Right.
You know, I look at ease of getting my equipment down to the water and breaking it down, because I am as old as I am, and I don't want to carry a bunch of
Right.
heavy
And you're
shit.
only dealing with one unit instead of two separate
Right.
units.
Yeah, you know, so I like it. You know, it does the job, and I every time we've checked losses on those gold snares, they're so minute, it hasn't really been worth worrying about. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had to worry about that, and that's what we always look at too. I know a lot of people go, well, scientifically, how much gold did you capture? You know, I go, well, I caught this and I let that go. I mean, I got 100 pieces here and one piece there. Scientifically, I'm doing okay.
Right. Well, the famous saying in the gold world is how much is that worth?
Yeah.
Yeah. How many times have you heard that? You know.
Yeah, right. How much is that worth? It wasn't worth me spending thousands of dollars for to get it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And then that's another thing too, cost of equipment. You know, it's not cheap.
Right.
So you gotta look for ways to get equipment at a really decent price, or free, or make your own. You know, because we're not getting rich at this. That's for sure.
Right.
You know, did Ed say he was back? Did you say you were back, Ed?
Yes, sir.
I heard the humming a little bit, but I don't know.
That's on Jesse's end, I think.
Yeah, I'm still looking at a blue screen, so I have no clue.
Don't touch nothing.
Don't touch nothing.
I'm not. I just won't know how to disconnect, because there is no disconnect.
Rasta Man asked a question: how much is the smallest dredge on the market?
And you didn't see Ed's smart reply?
1 inch, I believe.
But I do have a mount dredge that's about 3/8 of an inch. What it is it has some tubing, right? It works kind of like a water pipe.
Right, right.
And it goes into a coffee, one of the blue ones, Maxwell House. You know, I have Folgers and those blue square ones out in my shed for all my cons and stuff.
Right, right. Just like a suction device.
Right, but yeah, I use it as a little dredge for in real teeny cracks, and you wet the bedrock and stuff. And actually, I think I picked it up from a guy out of Arizona. He's a YouTube creator. I don't know if he's still active, but Pro Panner. I'm sure a lot of you will know who he is. Pro Panner.
Yeah, I've seen him. I might subscribe to his channel. I don't know. I have to look through my subscriptions.
But
sounds real familiar.
Yeah, I believe he's out of Arizona. But he made something similar, and I've thought about it before, you know. And
well, there you go, Rasta Man Ralph. Ed's got a little 3/8 inch dredge.
Yeah, but it's powered by my mouth. Works like a hookah or a bong, or
if it cleans the cracks out, hey brother, I've used my snuffer bottle before to clean cracks out.
Oh yeah, definitely. They make big, like, you know, they kind of look like the snot removers for babies, you know.
Right, right.
Or a baster, you can use those, and as long
don't forget the hand dredge too.
Yeah, the hand dredge too. And I've been thinking about the hand dredge thing. We have several in the shed, and they'll probably come out on a show this coming in the shed with Ed season. So yeah, buddy.
So are you guys gonna do any DIY segments or anything coming up?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was talking about when I said in the shed with Ed season, because that's the DIY show, you know, why they call me Ed in the shed.
Right.
But
What about
I'm
you, Rich? You
surprised
got any
no one's
other
called.
DIY projects you're going to get into? Other than getting your dredge back together?
Not at this time. I mean, I'm gonna build up a couple classifier buckets too, which are pretty easy to do. I like doing the 1/8-inch ones.
That
You know,
reminds me.
'cause-
That reminds me. Whose bucket did you say you used?
I use a Lowe's bucket.
Lowe's bucket. Those are
Yeah.
the red ones?
No, they're actually gray now. I think gray or blue. Mine are blue, and they're a more narrow. They're more of a narrower bucket, and you can always
Are they,
tell because. Go ahead.
Are they a 5-gallon bucket?
Yeah, they're a 5-gallon bucket, but they fit loosely in the other buckets.
Okay.
They're a little bit more narrow, and to make these classifier buckets, you need to have a narrow bucket inside a regular bucket, because if you find, all your buckets always stick together.
Right.
So you always need to find one of the loose buckets that goes in, and that loose bucket is the one that you want to make the classifier out of. Basically on the site on goldprospectorspace.com, we have a DIY section up there, and I actually have a drawing of it in there where you can go in and you actually see pictures of it, and it'll have a drawing of the diagram in there how to make it. They're pretty simple.
I saw the pictures of it when you were talking about it on the show.
Yeah. They're easy to classify. Instead of using all those stack-on classifiers and then have to pour water on top, basically this is designed to where you just put it back down in your bucket, put water in there, and you could take almost like 2 shovels worth, put it down in, lift it up on it, and swish it back and forth and up and down like a washing machine.
I do like the concept of your classifier, that's for sure.
I mean, you could go through a 5-gallon bucket of material, in a couple minutes compared to doing it the old way with pouring water on back and forth and up, down.
It takes forever.
Yeah, the ones I made were a lot like the stackables, but the one you make is a lot like that one business that kind of
that's where I got it from them.
While.
They went out of business, so.
Right, when you make something that's fairly easy for anyone else to make.
Right.
Unfortunately, they had a great idea, and I don't know. It's a great idea, and I don't want to talk bad about it. About them. It's sad they had to go. They tried their dream, which I would do. You gotta fail to succeed.
Right.
Well, and like you said, that was such a good idea, and it was really a simple idea.
Oh, yeah.
So simple that anybody could make them. So that's not a product that you're going to be able to sell a lot of. Right. Because everybody can make them.
It is a little hard to try to find the screens in the right mesh that you want, but, once you find those then it actually works pretty good.
Right. But the actual making of the product, is
very easy.
It was, like I said, it was just a simple design, simple concept. Probably couldn't even get a patent on it.
Oh no, probably not.
So.
And I've had people before that cut the bottom off of the buckets, and what they would do, they would cut the first, like, I think 10 or 12 inches off the bottom of the bucket. And then they actually put screening in. They'll drape the screening around the outside, and then they'll take that and shove that down in your other bucket till it gets tight. I've had people do it that way too.
Right.
They put the screening on and they shove it down through the original bucket. And it tightens it up.
Yeah, I think I might have to make some of those.
Yeah, they're pretty simple.
Yeah, but they're good. And The one you made's really nice.
Right.
So how long? How long has that lasted for you? Have you had to change screens or anything like that?
No, I've had
No?
that one for actually 6 years, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. And screws, of course, are a little rusty, but on the 1/4 inch one, and the 1/8 inch one, I have rivets in that one, and it's still pretty good.
And rocks don't care whether their screws are rusty, anyways.
Now,
As long as they're holding. So we've been on 2.5
An
hours.
hour, yeah, 2
Yeah.
hours and 33 minutes.
right? Yeah, I'm gonna have to get going here, guys. So,
Okay, well, a man has to
Got
do
nothing
what a
else,
man has
Yep.
to do.
I thank everyone for having me on the show, and we'll
It's
have
been
our
a
show.
pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks
we'll have
for
our
being
show
on.
Sunday night, and we'll be on Sunday night, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time on Gold Prospector Space. So, and I'm sure you guys will be there to listen to the show. So,
Oh, yeah. I know a lot of us in the room will be there, and I'll
yeah.
be there. And Jesse
You know
will
that
probably be there.
You know that I actually missed my first show 2 weeks ago.
Oh, really? Wow.
First show in like 5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Whoa, what happened? I was
That's
in
dedication. Yeah, definitely.
I was in Texas. And nobody there wanted to listen to the show. So
Mm. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out of here. Like I said, thanks for having me again, and I'll talk to everybody Sunday night then.
All right. Well, thank
take
you
it
very
easy.
much again for joining us, Rich. It's been a
Not a
great
problem.
time.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Have a good evening.
all right.
All right.
night.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
It was a bummer that he had so much trouble with his
Yeah, well, hey,
Skype.
a little bit of your Murphy rubbed off on him.
That doggone Murphy, I tell you. Jeez. I wouldn't want to have Murphy for a cousin. Oh, wait. He might be my
I
cousin.
think he is.
He is.
Hang out with him for sure.
But
Oh, we got what do we got coming up here? We got an OSPA meeting. What?
yeah, the home of Buckabilly Sluice Box, or the old
Right.
home of Buckabilly Sluice Box. And that's this coming weekend. And the Buckeye chapter's meeting was last weekend.
It's next weekend the meeting is, ain't it? The
Isn't
OSPA.
it this coming Sunday, the third Sunday of the month?
For the OSPA?
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's next weekend, ain't it?
Oh
I
no,
thought it
I'd
was
have
the
to
26th.
check. Someone is giving.
Yeah, I
some
thought it was. I thought it was like the
feedback.
26th. Yeah, I hear that. I hear it keep coming in. Let's see here. I'm looking real quick. I'm flipping through my phone
Okay,
here.
because I can't go through anything to look at.
It is November 26th at Bill and Shelley's.
Not this Sunday, but the next
No.
Sunday, the last
sir.
Sunday of the month. Okay, okay. You're welcome, Patrick.
Someone is shawing.
Shawing? Someone
Shawing?
shawing? Someone's staticky. I think it's you, Jesse. Your mic cable all right or anything? Because it happens when you talk.
I stay, you go. Said Murphy's like dog poop. You won't get rid of it once you step in it.
Ain't that the truth, I stay?
Yeah, buddy.
Oh, Rasta man's off. He's got to get to bed.
He's in the
Rasta man's going to bed.
UK. He's in the UK, so I know
Ronald.
it's late there. Thank you
3:30 in the
very
morning.
much, Ralph.
Yeah.
Have a good one. Rasta man Ralph, thank you.
Ronald, good
And
night.
I believe I Stay You Go is David. I believe he said his name was David a long time back. I hope I'm right.
Yes, Dick, we will see you at Bill and Shelley's.
Yes.
I'll see Dick before that because I'm riding with him
Ah,
to the meeting.
Yeah. You're
oh,
more
okay.
than welcome, Ronald.
Well, I'm glad you had a blast there. I say you go. No,
Definitely, definitely.
I stay, you go.
He probably
Goodbye.
thinks we're half nuts.
Rasta
Yes.
man, bruh, you have an awesome morning and an excellent day today for you in the future. No, I guess Australia'd be in the future, but
Yeah.
have a great one. Thank you for joining us. I know it's about 6 hours ahead of us there,
Right.
so
And it's getting
and
late here, and you got to
I
work tomorrow.
I believe I stay said he's in the EU in Slovenia.
Yep,
Gee,
Really?
something
thank
like that. Yep.
it's
Cool.
excellent. All these European viewers and stuff. Thank you very much for joining us here. It makes
Yes.
it truly a small world after all, right?
And it's truly late night with Ed and Jesse with them.
Yeah, big time.
Sometimes when it's a good show, it's a good show. What can we say? Thank you very much, Henry. Have a good one.
Yes,
All
Henry.
right,
Thanks for
T name's
showing.
going too. I know he's up in Canada, I thought he said. Thank you very much. Have a good night. Well, we have
Hey, I'm glad you learned some stuff tonight, Rasta man. That's what we want to do. We don't want to. I mean, we like having fun and all, but we also want to educate. We want people to learn what we're doing and learn some new techniques and maybe learn about some new products and stuff. And that's what we're about, you know.
and come back next week. We'll have MDV from mypanforgold.com with us next week.
Yep.
He's a
Yep.
real good friend of ours, personal friend. Um, and should be a good time. He really likes talking, so we'll
Oh
be
yeah, he
hearing
likes to
about his
talk.
story. It's a great guy, though.
Rasta man Ralph, are you joined up on goprospectorspace.com? If not, you should join there. You want to learn more stuff? That's the place to go. I mean, you can come on anytime. There's a live chat. You can ask your
And
questions
we've all got
there.
YouTube channels you can look at.
YouTube, DIY, lots of pictures, lots of videos, discussions, anything you might want.
There's links for that all in the description. Also, affiliate links for some of the equipment I use, and for affiliate link for GoldCube. Please, if you're interested in anything like that, all that helps with what we can bring you. And
Right.
unfortunately, I'm at the point where I can't really do this just for to do what I want to do. I can't just do it for like I used to with my Kodak Easy Share and upload. Yeah. I've gone too far for that. I can't look back now. Gee
You
whiz.
can't use that crank phone no more.
Cheers, mate. Thank you again, Rasta Man, for joining us. And our friend there too in Slovenia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's great seeing people from around the world join us. I also hear now we do get Aussies enjoying a good morning laugh with us once in a while too. And I hope to
Well,
get
I'll
a
be-
couple of
I'll
Aussies on our show too.
I'll tell you what, Ed. The comment we just got from Rasta Man telling us that he's learning a lot coming on here makes it worth doing. You know, if we were just on here just joking around and having a good time and just shooting the breeze. That's fun, but after a while that gets old. But the fact that people are coming out here and they're learning a few things makes it worth doing, in my opinion, anyways.
No, it's very much. It does, because I remember every time, it seems like it's perfect timing too, because every time I go, man, this is a real pain. I could be getting in a lot more digging, or
Yep.
I get discouraged and I just want to throw in the towel. Someone will come up to me on the river and say, "Hey, I got into prospecting because I saw you guys, and
Right?
it's awesome, like
Or I
Chris
know
Dye,
you. You're
or
Ed in the shed.
yeah, like exactly, Chris Dye. Hey, I know you, but
Oh yeah, I just yeah,
and it's cool.
last month or when I was in Texas, I stopped at Crater of Diamonds, and there was somebody there. He goes, "Oh, I know who you are." I'm going, "Oh, that's cool," But the fact that we're actually able to part out a little bit of knowledge to somebody, like I said, that to me is what's making it worth it. Because I'll be honest with you, I'm going, man, do I want to be on the show tonight? Maybe I'll come up with an excuse. But
Oh,
but
come on, Jesse.
now that Rasta Man Ralph says learning a lot on here, I'm going, yeah, I'm glad I was here. I'm glad I'm
Oh,
here.
come on. I thought
You're
I
committed.
had a good commitment out of you, brother.
You're committed, buddy. You're committed.
Yeah.
And
But
I like
it is
what
late.
Henry Clinton says, and we want a flash in our pan. You
Well, who
betcha.
doesn't?
And
Oh,
I hope to see Ed on the river. Well, it could be Jesse and Dano too.
yeah. Yeah,
You
we
just
got
never know.
32 thumbs up this time.
Ronald wants to know when Sam Waters is going to be a guest. That will be on December 5th, Ronald. We have Ray, Sarasin from Sluice to You, PayDirt. He's out of Alberta, Canada. He'll be with us on the 28th. And then on the 12th of December, we have the goose. We have the sluice goose. We have
Committed.
the committed in ink for the 12th of December. That should be a really good show.
That'll be a fun show.
I'm dying to ask him how many times when you were filming for Devil's Canyon that you want to go sluice goose.
I know. I wondered that too.
Probably every time.
Oh yeah.
I know he got his goose name in there on his pants, so that was
Oh, definitely. And to be honest, in my personal opinion, out of all the gold shows so far,
Yep, I'm with you.
Bering Sea Gold, Under the Ice, Gold Rush, even Yukon Gold, which I was pretty cool, and even Ghost Mine, that was pretty cool, and a couple others. I actually enjoyed Devil's Canyon the best.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
And I think it showed us, the small prospector, like John. He's a prospector. He's not even a small scale miner in his own words. He'd
Right.
rather go search for it, find it with small equipment, than pass it over and go to the next.
Mm-hmm.
Sell the claim, go to the next, like
Right.
Danny did. And then there's others that want to be the small time miner and maybe then the big time miner and then huge. But
Well, that's like winning the lottery, dude. Winning the lottery sounds good until you actually win the lottery and realize all the problems that come in with all that. Going from being a small scale miner or a prospector like we are to start doing big projects with heavy equipment, all of a
Right.
sudden you realize, well, this is like 100 times more work, 10,000 times more expensive, and I'm still getting the same goal. Not really, but I mean, it's comparably speaking. I mean, it's just
Well, you
bigger.
might be getting the same gold pan for pan yard by yard, but
Right.
you're not moving 1,000 square yards in an hour
Correct.
or
But it
whatever
costs.
their top capacity. Well, yeah,
But it,
each machine could be costing them $1,000 a day in
right.
diesel fuel alone. So,
So
you
that's
know,
all really nice and pretty and looks like a lot of fun and all that.
no,
But
that looks a lot like work.
well, yeah. I mean, that's the reality of it. It's work and it's expensive. So
Right.
you hear these guys, oh, we got 300 ounces a day. Okay, but
How
it
much
costs you
did that cost
200 to
you?
get that. It costs you 200 ounces to get that.
Right,
So
right.
so all that extra work, and then if you got people that are working on commission or percentage, now that drops that down even more. So basically, even though you're making big amounts of money and getting lots of ounces of gold, it's a lot of work, a lot of money. It's only worth it if that's what you want to do,
Oh
you
yeah.
know. But to try to
Definitely.
I don't know, it just seems like a whole lot of hard work for not really a whole lot of money. When it boils down to paying for everything and paying for equipment, paying for gas, paying for royalties, paying this, paying that, and you get to go home with your ounce in your pocket.
Right, right.
I know I'm exaggerating that a little bit, but that's basically what we're talking about. So you want that kind of gold, it's going to cost you that kind of money.
That's true. That's true.
You know?
It depends what you want out of it in the big scope
Right,
of things, of what
right.
you got to put into it.
Well, and
Right.
that right, and that works. Right, that goes right back to even us as small scale or prospectors.
Right.
How much are we willing to lose off the end of our sluice box?
No,
That's
I
that.
think that's an easy question to
Well,
answer.
yeah, don't want to lose any.
Exactly, but
But
we
what are
know
you willing to
reality
lose?
too. But what are you willing to lose?
Right. So that I don't want to lose any, but I know I'm going to because that's the nature of the beast. You
Right.
know, if I don't want to lose any, that means I gotta work even harder. So again, how much do you want to work for that? What you're getting? That's what it all boils down to. You know, I can find a little gold with a little bit of work, or find a lot of gold with a lot of work. I'm just having fun.
Or if you're in Ohio, a lot of work and a little gold.
Yeah, right. Very
Right.
little, very little. But that's what we do.
That's all
So I
right.
think we already said goodbye to everybody, and they're still sitting around listening to us.
Well, there's at least 7 sitting around listening to us.
They're fading on us.
Yeah,
And I can understand why.
yeah. I think we're done rambling on. What do you think?
We done
Yeah,
marathoned them out.
probably. And we're going on 3 hours, so.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the
See,
chat
I
and
did.
my stream's been frozen for who knows how long. But
No, mine. I've had to refresh a couple times.
yeah,
But I
I
see.
can't really do that.
So did you thank all your Patreons yet tonight?
Actually,
Dick's still
no, I
hanging around.
haven't. I'd like to thank all my patrons out there through Patreon. We have our friend and fellow GPS member, Crooney Club member, Prospectors radio host and friend, Kathleen Biffle of the Wandering Buffaloes. We have our very good friend Tim Grimes of Prospectors Radio and GPS. We have John Shaw, our good friend in Texas, and he does amazing work for vets and disabled vets. We also have our newest patrons. It's a duo. It's Wayne and Deb Wagner, and that goal we're going for with Patreon is to be able to have enough money so we could probably get someone interested in being a full-time camera person, and along with an editor, software, hardware. The more I want to do, the more it does cost, unfortunately. And I'm not a millennial, so I don't want it for free. So, but we all put a lot of work into this show, and Jesse and Dano, I know he does his own videos. It's a lot of effort and stuff, but it's a passion of love. I love to do it, but I want to do more. So if you decide to become part of the Flash in Your Pan team, thank you very much, and you will be mentioned and be in the credits, and also get some goodies, I have this little, I know it's just a little gift, but there's actually some pretty decent gold in it. Some shark's teeth, fossilized shark's teeth, and maybe a gem or two. And I believe in these, if I recollect right. Everything in it I personally found it myself. So actually I gotta get those shipped off to John Shaw and to Wayne and Deb. But for tonight, thank you all very much. What do you guys say?
I say I'm good. I did my rant for tonight.
Yeah. You gonna
say it was
them?
Nice having everybody?
Yeah, it was great. We had a really nice crowd, about 30 at one time at the tops, and hopefully we'll get a lot more views. If you stayed around and watching this later, please comment below and I will reply to your comments, or Jesse if he sees them, or Dano. And thank you again all for joining us tonight here at Tuesday Night Hangout Live with ToledoJess, Dano, and I. Until then, may you always have a flash in your pan.
You know what he always says.
That's right. Maybe one day too, we'll see you on the river. Good night, y'all.
Good night,
Good
guys.
night, everyone. Good night, Mr. Lodak.
Good night, Jaron. Good night, Dick. Good night, Bob, Henry, Ronald, whoever else may be here. Dana.
Good night, all.
Jesse.
Good night, everyone. Thank you
very much.
Hey, good night, Ed.
Good night,
Good night,
Hi, Jesse.
shit.